Within 33rd layer days, it took Lin Fei and the other 5 people more than an hour to reach the entrance to the second floor. After entering the second floor, their speed did not slow down and continued to move towards the nearest entrance to the third floor, hoping to enter the third floor in the shortest time. According to Lin Fei's plan, they must maintain this state until the 21st floor. Of course, it's not just them, there are many groups like them, immersed in moving forward, moving towards a higher level, and not staying at the lower level. After entering the third floor, the number of surrounding groups suddenly doubled, and they were all new faces. Lin Fei guessed that these people were new job transferees from other cities. They probably had the same idea as them and wanted to wait until they reached a higher level before hunting monsters. The group of people just kept climbing. With each level, the number of surrounding groups increases a lot. In the end, they gathered into an army of professionals, scaring the monsters on the road from approaching to intercept them, allowing them to enter the 11th floor unimpeded. After entering the 11th floor, the monster's strength increases to another level. Level 7, Level 8, and Level 9 monsters appear one after another. The levels of these monsters are not too low, and the points gained after killing them are not too few. So many groups slowed down and spread out in the 11th floor, looking for monsters to hunt. Only a few groups continued to rush towards the entrance to the 12th floor without slowing down. Brother Fei, there is a monster blocking the road ahead. Shu Wei saw hundreds of monsters in front of him from a distance, waiting on their only way, and couldn't help but remind Lin Fei. There are so many of them here, so dealing with these monsters is not a problem, but it may take some time. Lin Fei looked up and didn't care. He said lightly, "Don't worry, it won't affect us." After entering the 11th floor, the monsters become stronger and there are fewer groups moving forward together, so monsters block the way. But it's not a big problem, and the undead ghost can easily solve it. Lin Fei didn't take it to heart, and the other 4 people relaxed and concentrated on their way. Wait for everyone to come to the monster. The people in the 2 surrounding groups couldn't help but take the lead. As for Lin Fei, the undead ghost at the front of the team had already activated the skill Ghost Fire. A large number of blue flames appear out of thin air. As soon as a monster approaches, more than a dozen wisps of flames will fly towards the monster and instantly burn it to ashes. Under the cover of the undead ghosts, the 5 people's speed did not slow down, and it didn't take long to escape from the entanglement of those monsters. The other surrounding groups were forced to stop fighting the monsters, and soon they were left far behind by Lin Fei and the others. Shu Wei looked back at the monsters that were getting away, and said excitedly to everyone, "The skill of the undead ghost is so powerful, the monsters were burned to ashes before they even got close. With it, we no longer have to worry about being blocked by monsters. We can travel unimpeded all the way to the 21st floor." Several other people nodded in agreement upon hearing this. But Lin Fei in front was not so optimistic, and said calmly, "Concentrate on your way. The situation of monsters blocking the road behind will probably become more and more serious. The ghost fire of the undead ghost can be used against some low-level monsters. If the monster is too strong, everyone needs to take action together." Shu Wei and the other 4 nodded and continued to follow Lin Fei. All the way through the 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th floors, the 5 people's progress continued to slow down. The reason is just as Lin Fei said, the situation of monsters blocking the road is getting more and more serious. If it weren't for Lin Fei's presence, they would have been blocked long ago and would not have been able to enter the 16th floor unimpeded. After entering the 16th floor, there were no other groups behind them, and they were all left far behind. However, there were more and more monsters blocking the road ahead, and they were getting stronger. The ghost fire was no longer of much use, so Shu Wei and the 4 of them began to help together. Fortunately, the level of these monsters blocking the road is not low, and the points gained after killing them are also very considerable. Several people took action to kill some monsters blocking the road, and all gained a lot of points, all of them smiling happily. Of course, Lin Fei was the one who gained the most points among them. After all, the undead ghosts are the main force in killing monsters blocking the way. It killed more monsters by itself than the 4 of Shu Wei combined. It's just that Lin Fei didn't focus on the points. Instead, he kept staring at the experience column on the attribute panel. Watching the value in the experience column continue to increase, Lin Fei is increasingly looking forward to his next promotion to level 15. In the 33rd layer days, the new professionals are constantly fighting with monsters. Outside the 33rd layer, there were many people waiting anxiously in the square. Donghai City College Entrance Examination Square. The 33rd layer college entrance examination secret realm in Donghai Province is located here. Ever since the 33rd layer secret realm was officially opened, a huge shadow appeared above the square. The shadow is in the shape of a pyramid, divided into 33 layers in total. Each layer is suspended independently and is not connected to each other. It is just like the 33rd layer secret realm after shrinking. As students entered the 33rd layer sky one after another, the first layer at the bottom of the shadow was lit up. And as time goes by, from bottom to top, the second, third, and fourth floors are all lit up one after another. Now the 33rd layer sky shadow has been lit up to 20 layers. VIP lounge area in the square. Provincial Governor and Lord of Donghai City Wu Liang watched the 33rd layer sky being lit up one after another and couldn't help but sigh. This year is indeed a great year for the college entrance examination. The speed of new professionals climbing up is much faster than in previous years. If we continue at this rate, I'm afraid it won't be long before the 21st floor will be lit up. The head of the Qin family, Qin Wanyu, sat aside and nodded in agreement. It took a day and a half to light up the 21st floor last year, and now it has just been a day, and the speed is indeed faster than last year. Wu Liangming nodded, took a sip from the teacup, and said with a smile, I don't know what results they will get in the end. I can't wait to know the results of the college entrance examination. Master Qin family, might as well guess what level they can reach. The 28th floor, probably, Qin Wanyu said with a smile. I can't stop watching. Wu Liang shook his head and said with a smile. Last year's top pick in the college entrance examination entered the 28th level, and this year it will only be higher. Don't forget, this year only among level 18 professionals, 2 appeared before the college entrance examination. There are also many level 17 and level 16 professionals, and the overall strength is much stronger than last year. Qin Wanyu nodded and said casually. Then it is possible to get to the 29th floor. The 30th floor is still a bit difficult, so there is not much hope. The leader of the Qin family is just perfunctory with me. Wu Liang turned to look at Qin Wanyu and said in a teasing tone. Don't think I don't know. Your fourth child has worked hard on forming a team. I heard that all 5 members of the team are hidden professionals, and they are known as the strongest team in the history of Donghai Province's college entrance examination. He put so much thought into it. The target can't be just the 29th floor, right? Qin Wanyu remained calm and said calmly, it's just a kid playing nonsense. He is only level 17. He will probably stop after entering the 28th level. But he was secretly surprised that Wu Liang was well informed and had a vicious eye, and he could see Qin Hao's goal at a glance. Wu Liang smiled and said nothing after hearing his words, and turned to look at the 33rd layer sky. The 21st floor was slowly lit up. Look, someone has entered the 21st floor. Wu Liang smiled even more and turned to Qin Wanyu and said, if my prediction is correct, the first one to enter the 21st floor should be your fourth child. Good boy, it's fast enough. Qin Wanyu also saw the 21st level being lit up, and said modestly, it's not necessarily Qin Hao. Don't forget there are those 2 level 18 guys. But he had begun to feel proud of his son. Good boy. It only took 1 day to enter the 21st floor. It was half a day faster than originally planned. He is worthy of being my son. Qin Wanyu, 33rd layer 21st layer. After Lin Fei and the other 5 entered from the entrance on the 20th floor, what they saw were steaming lava rivers and giant volcanoes that were constantly spewing white smoke. Xu Wei rubbed his hands and looked left and right. He was excited and ready to give it a go. Liang Jia and the other 3 also breathed a sigh of relief, and they could finally kill monsters and gain points. Lin Fei stood in the middle with a calm expression, looking at the lava giant that was attracted not far away, and said calmly, get ready to fight. Several people nodded in response, holding weapons in hand. Before these dozen lava giants could approach, Xu Wei opened his bow and shot arrows at them, and the spear in Xu Jing's hand also began to spit out tongues of fire. Liang Jia and Shen Zihan rushed over, one on the left and the other on the right, to fight these monsters in close combat. Of course, the ones at the forefront are the ghosts of the dead. It quickly killed most of the monsters with the speed of one sword strike. 5 or 6 other monsters were also killed by Shu Wei and the others one after another. After the monsters died, bits of starlight floated out from their bodies and flew into the teleportation tokens on the waists of the 5 people. Then the 5 of them noticed that their monster killing points had increased a bit. Among them, Lin Fei had the largest increase in points. He has more points in teleportation tokens than the other 4 people combined. Lin Fei didn't care about the points, but watched the experience bar increase a little more, nodded with satisfaction, and continued. Let's search forward and hunt as many monsters as possible. The 4 of Shu Wei nodded, then slowed down and headed towards the entrance to the 22nd floor. At the same time, they expanded the search area and killed monsters as soon as they encountered them. Because of Lin Fei's presence, they dared to take action even if hundreds of monsters gathered together. Although solving them will take a lot of time, the points gained are also considerable. In just 3 hours, they earned more than 500 points on the 21st floor. Among them, Lin Fei's points reached an astonishing 1,200 points. But what Lin Fei is most satisfied with is that his experience bar has reached 91%, and he will be promoted to level 15 in a short time. Let's enter the 22nd floor. Arriving at the entrance to the 22nd floor, Lin Fei took the lead and entered first. Shu Wei and others followed closely. Inside the 22nd floor is a huge desert. The scorching sunshine shone on everyone's face, and the sound of hot air roaring could be heard from time to time. Lin Fei did not rush to hunt for monsters, but looked at Shu Wei, Liang Jia, and Shu Jing and said, "There are a large number of level 12 monsters and a small number of level 13 monsters on the 22nd floor. There are a large number of level 13 monsters and a few level 14 monsters on the 23rd floor. You are currently at level 11, and it is best to stay on the 22nd floor. So when we get to the entrance of the 23rd floor later, don't follow me into the 23rd floor. Just stay on the 22nd floor to hunt monsters and gain points." Shu Wei and the other 2 nodded. They are self-aware and know that reaching the 22nd level is their limit. If you follow Lin Fei into the 23rd floor, not only will you not be able to help Lin Fei, but you will become a burden. In this way, I might as well just stay on the 22nd floor and hunt monsters to gain points. Anyway, level points are awarded according to the group. As long as one person enters a higher level, everyone in the group will receive the same level points. There was absolutely no need for them to follow Lin Fei to a higher level. After this matter is settled, several people continued to set off. While walking slowly towards the entrance of the 23rd floor, while hunting monsters in this vast Gobi desert to gain points, kill level 13 Golden Flame Holy Lion, experience plus 290. Kill level 13 Wind Demon Tiger, experience plus 310. After more than 2 hours of fighting, after the undead ghosts killed 2 level 13 monsters, Lin Fei's experience bar finally reached 100%. Immediately afterwards, he saw the level on the attribute panel promoted from 14 to 15. Name: Lin Fei. Occupation: Undead Lord, only. Level: 15, 0.00%. Life: 930 plus 300. Strength: 800. Agility: 820 plus 300. Mana: 1850 plus 150. Equipment: Psychic Bracelet, Jinming Stone Necklace, Nebula Mysterious Shoes. Backpack Space: 5400. Army: Undead Ghost. As the level increases, more arms can be unlocked. Skills: Normal Shield, Teleportation, Bone Spurs, Summoning Undead Ghosts. Talent: Infinite Synthesis. After being promoted to level 15, the 4-dimensional attributes have improved a lot, the mana has been restored again, and other skills have also been improved. But that's not what Lin Fei is most concerned about. He stood there and waited quietly, his heart full of anticipation. Immediately, the strange yet familiar voice sounded in my ears again. Ding! It is detected that the host has been promoted to level 15. Complete the system activation task and be rewarded with 50 task points. The rank 1 segment of the most powerful professional system is opened. Unlocking the system mall, Loading. Unlocking the mission hall. Loading. The system mall is loaded. The mission hall is loaded. Ding! The host has a new mission. Please go to the mission hall to get it. A series of mechanical sounds echoed in Lin Fei's ears. When the mechanical sound in his ears completely disappeared, Lin Fei discovered that in addition to the personal attributes panel, he had added a new system panel. Open the system panel, and then you will see that the page is divided into two modules. One is the system mall module and the other is the task hall module. Lin Fei clicked on the system mall. There was a wave of light patterns on the panel, and then it transformed into a new page with many classification options. Weapons, helmets, armor, belts, boots, accessories, resources, talismans, food. Lin Fei looked at everything, and the more he looked, the more helpless he became. I have been looking forward to it for so long, and finally I got something like this? This is just an ordinary mall, nothing fancy at all. I can also buy the above things at the guild. Do you still need them? Lin Fei was extremely speechless. It feels like the gap between expectations and reality is huge. It's not as good as the novice gift package I got at the beginning. Lin Fei shook his head and lost interest. I was about to close the system mall and go to the mission hall to have a look. Suddenly I saw several options at the bottom of the page. Talent? Skill? Summon? Occupation? Can this also be bought and sold? Talent, skills, summons, profession. When Lin Fei saw these options, he immediately became interested. Rubbing his hands with excitement, he clicked on the talent option to view it. The page flashed with light waves, and then many types of talents and their introductions appeared. Steel and iron bones. Level, black iron level. Possessing this talent can make your body as strong as steel, permanently reducing physical damage by 30% and magic damage by 15%. Redemption conditions. 100 mission points. Skeleton resurrection. Level. White silver level. Undead talent, which can resurrect the bones of dead life and retain their combat power during life. The level is limited to life forms lower than themselves. Redemption conditions. 2000 mission points. 100-fold increase. Level. Yellow gold level. All experience, items, territory, etc. obtained by the host will be increased by 100-fold. Redemption conditions. Unlocked at level 30. Amplification of 10,000 times. Level. Diamond level. The experience, items, territory, etc. obtained by the host will be increased by 10,000 times. Redemption conditions. To be unlocked. Unlimited plunder. Level. Divine level. After killing the life form, you can plunder the opponent's talent. There is no level limit. Redemption conditions. To be unlocked. Unlimited copying. Level. Divine level. The host can copy any items, skills, etc. infinitely, without level restrictions. Redemption conditions. To be unlocked. The system mall can actually redeem talent, really not bad. Especially those divine level talents, none of which are worse than the infinite synthetic talent. An infinite synthesized talent can greatly increase your strength, allowing you to easily clear difficult level dungeons. If there were 2 more divine level talents, I might be able to walk sideways in the Dragon Kingdom before long. Lin Fei looked at these talents and his heart skipped a beat. I can't wait to get them all at once, but redeeming talent requires mission points. He currently only has 50 mission points in hand, and he can't redeem even the lowest level black iron level talent, let alone those with higher levels. Even for talents above yellow gold level, you can't see the redemption conditions. You need to advance to level 30 to unlock them. Lin Fei shook his head secretly and looked at these talents with a hint of regret. You can only wait until your level is higher and you have more mission points, and then you can redeem them through the mall. Exit the talent page. Lin Fei opened the skills page again. Similar to the talent page, the skills page contains skills 1 by 1. Ghost Slash. Level. Black Iron level. It consumes a certain amount of mana to summon a ghost and god attached to the sword, and launches a powerful slash at the enemy, causing damage to the enemy. The power can be increased according to the host level. Redemption conditions. 10 mission point. Magic Cannon. Level. White silver level. It consumes a certain amount of mana to generate a magic ball, which inflicts a certain amount of damage to the enemy. It can be used in the air. The power can be increased according to the level of the host. Redemption conditions: 50 mission points. Elemental Surround. Level: Yellow Gold level. It consumes 2000 mana points to generate various elements around itself. Each element will have different effects nearby. The power cannot be increased according to the host level. Redemption conditions: unlocked at 30. In the skills page, there are all kinds of skills, including almost all the skills currently known. And there are no occupation restrictions on redeeming these skills. Even if Lin Fei is a lord, he can still redeem the exclusive skills of other professions. This is very comfortable. Lin Fei took a fancy to a few skills that did not belong to lord-type professions on the page. He thought that he would get more mission points in the future, so he exchanged them. As for now, Lin Fei has no plans to redeem his skills. Although the task points required to redeem skills are much less than those required to redeem talent. But the 50 mission points in Lin Fei's hand can only be exchanged for some black iron level skills, which is of little use to him. Moreover, with the undead ghosts around, Lin Fei didn't need to deal with the monsters, so there was no need to redeem these useless black iron level skills. It's better to wait until there are more mission points in the future, and then I can redeem those high-level skills. You can even give it a try then and see if you can exchange skills for the ghosts of the dead. With this thought in his mind, Lin Fei casually exited the skill page. The page for the most anticipated summons was opened again. Summoned Beast Type: Mecha Heddle, Dark Knight Sandal, Tauren King Karuta. Elf System: Light Elf Levos, Dark Elf Semitic, Fire Elf Adarian. Legendary System: Ramos the Moon Counter. After scanning through the lines line by line, they were all summoned objects of various kinds. They were so comprehensive that Lin Fei was dazzled. Continuously scrolling down, in the middle part, Lin Fei found the Undead system that he was most interested in. Undead Ghosts, Skeleton Warriors, Undead Ice Dragons, Six-Path Ghost Kings. It's you. Lin Fei clicked on the ghost of the undead without even thinking about it. Then various information about the ghosts of the dead appeared on the page. Black Iron level Undead Ghost. Consume 10 mana points to summon a Black Iron level Undead Ghost to fight for you. You cannot follow the host level to increase your strength. Redemption conditions: 5 mission points. White Silver level Undead Ghost. It consumes 150 mana points to summon a White Silver level Undead Ghost to fight for you. The strength cannot be increased with the host level. Redemption conditions: 50 mission points. Yellow Gold level Undead Ghost. Consume a certain amount of mana to summon a Yellow Gold level Undead Ghost to fight for you. You cannot increase your strength with the host level. Redemption conditions: unlocked at level 30. Divine level Ghost Great Emperor. Consume a certain amount of mana to summon a Divine level Ghost Great Emperor to fight for you. You cannot increase your strength with the host level. Redemption conditions: to be unlocked. From the lowest Black Iron level Undead Ghost to the strongest Divine level Ghost Great Emperor, you can redeem them in the system mall. It's just that Lin Fei's level is too low now, and he has only unlocked the Undead Ghosts of Black Iron level and White Silver level for the time being. But this already satisfied him. Now the increase in the synthesis of Black Iron level Undead Ghosts is getting lower and lower. I need the White Silver level Undead Ghosts to be synthesized to greatly increase the strength of the Undead Ghosts. It's just that under normal circumstances, I have to advance to level 20 to summon White Silver level Undead Ghosts. Now that there is a system mall, I can redeem it directly. Level 15 can summon White Silver level Undead Ghosts, and I have enough mission points required for redemption. Lin Fei looked at the White Silver level Undead Ghost column and was very excited. But when it came to redeeming it, I was a little hesitant. It takes 50 mission points to redeem White Silver level Undead Ghost. If I exchange it, the mission points in my hand will be cleared and I can no longer exchange it for other summons. If I don't exchange it, I can use these 50 mission points to exchange for other Undead Arms to increase the number of Undead Arms in my hand. How to choose? Lin Fei looked at the system mall in front of him, with a trace of hesitation in his eyes. It's better to redeem the White Silver level Undead Ghost. There is no rush for the new arms for the time being. We will redeem them after we get more mission points. After thinking about it, Lin Fei decided to redeem the white silver level undead ghost. Although the new arms are good, they cannot form combat power in a short period of time, so they are not of much help to me at the moment. By exchanging the white silver level undead ghost, you can synthesize it again to improve the strength of the undead ghost and achieve better results in the college entrance examination. I made up my mind. Lin Fei reached out and clicked the redemption button behind the white silver level undead ghost introduction. Then a mechanical sound from the system came to my ears. Spent 50 mission points and successfully redeemed white silver level undead ghost. The host has the ability to summon the ghosts of white silver level undead. In an instant, Lin Fei realized that he could summon white silver level undead ghosts. But he didn't rush to call. Instead, he exited the summons page and clicked to enter the career page. Let's see if the system mall can really redeem professions. With this thought in mind, a wave of light flashed on the system panel in front of me, and many professions and their introductions appeared. Miner. A lifestyle occupation. Master various mining techniques and can quickly mine, smelt, and process mineral deposits. Redemption conditions, 500 mission points. Magician. An auxiliary profession. Has various auxiliary skills and can provide various therapeutic effects to other professions. Redemption conditions. Unlocked at level 30. Warrior. The main combat profession. It has strong attack and defense power. It usually fights enemies at close range and can bear a lot of damage in battle. Redemption conditions. To be unlocked. Dark Martial Warrior. A rare profession. Has the ability to fuse the power of darkness. The battery life is terrible, but the explosive power is insufficient. Redemption conditions. To be unlocked. Dragon Master. Hidden profession. Can sign a contract with dragon creatures, master some of the power of dragon race, and at the same time let them fight for themselves. Redemption conditions. To be unlocked. Life occupations, auxiliary occupations, main combat occupations, rare occupations, and hidden occupations. Yes, all types of professions are available, and almost all known professions are included. Lin Fei checked it out, and after having a certain understanding of the career page, he couldn't help but secretly feel excited. I now have a professional undead lord. If I switch to another profession, wouldn't I become a dual professional? Even if you exchange for a few more professions, you will become a multi-professional person. Lin Fei became more and more excited as he thought about it. I have never heard of dual professionals or multi-professionals on Blue Star. And having your own system mall gives you the opportunity to become a multi-professional. You must know that every profession can continuously improve its level and strength, and has huge potential. One more career is equivalent to one more path. If you have two professions at the same time, your strength may not just be doubled. After being excited for a while, Lin Fei saw the redemption conditions behind each occupation and shook his head slightly. The potential of the new profession is huge, but the task points required to redeem the profession are also many. Even the lowest level professional mining engineer needs 500 mission points. Not to mention those rare professions and hidden professions. The task points required for redemption must be astonishingly high. I'm afraid it will be difficult for me to get so many mission points in a short period of time. Lin Fei shook his head regretfully. The task points required to exchange for a profession have far exceeded his current ability. You can only redeem it after accumulating more mission points in the future. Continue to click on the system panel. The career page is exited and the system mall module is also closed. Lin Fei looked at another major module of the system, the mission hall. I don't know what the mission hall looks like. Out of curiosity, Lin Fei clicked to enter the mission hall. Immediately afterwards, many modules such as main tasks, achievement tasks, random tasks, etc. appeared on the panel. First click on the main character. 2 tasks appear on the panel. Task. Open system rank 1, completion conditions. The host level reaches level 15. Completion reward. 50 mission points, current status. Completed. Task. Open system rank 2, completion conditions. The host level reaches level 30. Completion reward. A limited chance for free in the system mall. Current status. In progress. I have completed the task of unlocking rank 1 of the system and obtained 50 task points. To start the task of rank 2 of the system, I need to be promoted to level 30 to complete it. After completing this, you will get a chance to get a limited exemption in the system mall. The one-time limited free opportunity in the system mall means that Lin Fei can redeem any item in the system mall. The first choice is of course divine level talent. Or you can have another unique hidden profession. Lin Fei is looking forward to this very much, it's just that I'm only level 15 now. It's still quite far away from level 30, which is where the mission is completed. I'm afraid it won't be completed in a short time, so we can only take our time. Lin Fei thought for a moment, then exited the main quest page and opened the achievement quest page. Achievement task. College entrance examination number 1. Completion conditions. The host gets first place in the college entrance examination. Completion reward. 30 mission points. Additional reward. If the host can enter the 33rd floor of the 33rd layer, an additional 50 mission points will be awarded. Current status. Waiting to be collected. This is not bad. If you become the top scorer in the college entrance examination, you will get 30 mission points. If you can enter the highest level of the 33rd layer, you can also get an additional reward of 50 mission points. Lin Fei's eyes lit up when he saw this achievement mission, and he accepted it without hesitation. Ding! Receive the achievement task. The top scorer in the college entrance examination. The system beep sounded in my ears, and the task status on the page also changed to in progress. Lin Fei rubbed his nose and thought to himself, it's not difficult to become the top scorer in the college entrance examination. The top scorer in last year's college entrance examination was only level 18 and has entered the 28th level. With my current strength, I can definitely compete. But it's not easy to get into the top level of 33rd layer. It is said that after level 30, level 20 monsters will begin to appear, which are very difficult to deal with. Without the ability to summon white-silver level undead ghosts, with my current strength, it is definitely impossible to enter the 33rd floor. Think of this. Lin Fei couldn't help but feel lucky. After redeeming the white-silver level undead ghost, you can continue to synthesize it to improve the strength of the undead ghost. In this case, it is really possible to reach the top of the 33rd layer world. At this time, Xu Wei and the other 4 were resting on the spot. After more than a day of high-intensity action, each of them consumed a lot of energy, and they had to rest for half an hour before they could continue. Lin Fei also took this opportunity to synthesize white-silver level undead ghosts to improve his strength. Close the system panel. Lin Fei then activated the skill. Summon white-silver level undead ghosts. The mana bar instantly reduced by 900 mana points. 6 white-silver level undead ghosts also appeared out of thin air in front of Lin Fei. At the moment when these 6 white-silver level undead ghosts appeared, Xu Wei and the other 4 who were resting were instantly awakened. Liang Jia and Shen Zihan even took a fighting posture and looked around with a vigilant look. They didn't feel relieved until they found that the sudden strong breath was emitted by the 6 undead ghosts. Several people looked at the 6 white-silver level undead ghosts at the same time. Perhaps because of their similar strength, they could feel the strength of these 6 undead ghosts very clearly, and judged that each of them was as strong as themselves. If they fought, they would probably lose more than they won. But this is just what Lin Fei summoned casually. The eyes of several people looking at Lin Fei change. Not to mention the strongest undead ghost, he could even kill the level 15 secret realm boss. Now Lin Fei actually summoned 6 more in one breath, each of which was as strong as his own undead ghost. Even looking at his relaxed look, he might be able to summon more. Only then did they really understand. I had underestimated Lin Fei's strength before. With such strength, he could take the college entrance examination alone. It was completely redundant to team up with him, and even a burden to him. It was simply unimaginable how Lin Fei did it, becoming so powerful in just 7 or 8 days after changing his job. The world of peerless geniuses is really incomprehensible to us ordinary people. Several people were filled with emotion. At the same time, he was also secretly looking forward to how many levels Lin Fei could finally climb to. With this strength, there is a good chance for the 29th and 30th levels, right? This time, I teamed up with Lin Fei to take the college entrance examination. I really made a fortune. Lin Fei didn't know how many people beside him had already worshipped him as a god in their hearts. His attention was all on these 6 white-silver level undead ghosts. White-silver level undead ghost. Life. 430. Strength. 400. Agility. 460. Mana. 400. Skills. Death Dance, Magic Barrier. Death Dance. Consume 50 mana points, increase agility by 3 times within 10 seconds, and can quickly move to nearby locations. Magic Barrier. Reduce the magic damage received, consume 5 mana points per second. It is worthy of being a white-silver level undead ghost. The basic strength alone has reached the level of level 12. If it is synthesized again, I really don't know how much the strength can be improved. Lin Fei closed their attribute panels with excitement. Then he could not wait to collect all the undead ghosts into the backpack space and start the infinite synthesis talent to synthesize them. The synthesis was completed in the blink of an eye. A brand new white-silver level undead ghost appeared in front of Lin Fei. White-silver level undead ghost. Life. 3,300 plus 300. Strength. 3,470 plus 600. Agility. 3,500 plus 200. Mana. 3,350. Equipment. Soul-sealing ghost claw, curse of 100 ghosts and resentful spirits, flying dragon wings, god-chasing armor, life collar. Skills. Strengthening, ghost fire, dance of death, magic barrier. Strengthen. Consume 1,000 mana points to double the attack power for 2 minutes, cooling time 5 hours. Ghost fire. After turning it on, it consumes 1 mana point every 1 second and generates a large number of ghost flames within 500 meters of the undead ghost. Each ray can cause 50 points of damage to the enemy. Dance of Death. Consumes 200 mana points, increases agility 5 times within 30 seconds, and can quickly move to nearby locations. Magic Barrier. Reduces the magic damage received, consuming 10 mana points per second. Good Guy. The strength has increased directly from 2070 points to 4070 points, nearly doubled, and the combat power is catching up with level 21. The other 3 attributes have also been improved by more than 2000 points, jumping from level 18 to the high level 20 level. The 2 skills have also been increased to 4, and the power of the skills has more than doubled. Calculating it this way, the strength of the undead ghost is already comparable to level 21. Lin Fei was secretly excited when he saw the attribute panel of the synthesized undead ghost. It is really wise to choose to redeem the white-silver level undead ghost yourself. White-silver level undead ghost is the first synthesis. So just synthesizing 6 of them can increase the attributes by 2000 points, which is many times stronger than synthesizing black iron level undead ghosts. Now the strength of the undead ghost is almost comparable to level 21. He has entered the highest level of the 33rd layer, and completing this achievement task is within reach. It won't take long for 80 mission points to be available. At that time, you can exchange them for new units and other items in the system mall. Just perfect. Lin Fei was very excited, but Xu Wei and the other 4 people on the side had no feeling for this synthesized undead ghost. There is no other reason, the difference in strength is too big. The strength of the undead ghosts is directly catching up with level 21, and their strength is only at the level of level 12 or 3. So they can clearly feel the power of ordinary white-silver level undead ghosts. But he didn't feel anything about the synthesized undead ghost, and he couldn't even feel its powerful aura. This is the result of the huge gap in strength. Lin Fei asked the undead ghosts to guard the safety of the 4 people and let them concentrate on resting. And he was not idle either, and began to replan the next trip. The biggest limitation of the college entrance examination is not the powerful monsters inside, but the fact that the exam lasts only 3 days. The 33rd layer has a huge area, and there is very little that can be done in just 3 days. The time spent on the road alone accounts for a large part, and the time spent actually killing monsters and gaining points is actually not much. Everyone taking the college entrance examination must plan their time carefully. Originally, the strength of the undead ghosts was only level 18, so I set the target at levels 28 and 29. Then we plan to climb to the 21st floor, then slow down and kill a lot of monsters to gain points. But now the situation has changed. I need to enter the 33rd floor. If I still follow the original plan, there will obviously not be enough time. So, for the next few floors, I have to speed up and pass quickly. After entering the 28th floor, slow down and kill a lot of monsters to gain points. Only with this arrangement, there will be enough time for me to enter the 33rd floor. Lin Fei thought for a while and replanned his next trip. Then after waiting for another 10 minutes, Shu Wei and the four of them finished resting. The 5 people then continued to set off, heading towards the entrance to the 23rd floor. Let's separate here. Lin Fei looked at Shu Wei and the others and suddenly said, I have to speed up the rest of the journey and can't go with you. He had to pass through the next few floors as quickly as possible, so as to ensure that he had enough time to climb to the 33rd floor. So I can no longer spend time hunting monsters with Shu Wei and the others. Shu Wei and the other 3 were stunned when they heard this. I don't understand why Lin Fei suddenly decided to speed up, but he still nodded in agreement. Seeing that the others had no objections, Lin Fei said to Chen Zihan, let's speed up and reach the entrance of the 23rd floor as soon as possible. Chen Zihan nodded slightly doubtfully, and then quickly headed towards the entrance of the 23rd floor with Lin Fei. Looking at the 2 people's backs gradually going away, Xu Jing said to Liang Jia and Shu Wei, the 3 of us will act together next. Hunt monsters with all your strength on the 22nd floor and get points. Liang Jia and Shu Wei nodded and expressed no objection. From now on, they will hunt monsters with all their strength until the end of the college entrance examination. The points they earn will definitely rank among the top 500 and be admitted to the top 10 universities in Dragon Kingdom. Xu Jing looked around again, fixed her gaze on the southeast, and said to the 2 of them, there are a dozen monsters 1 kilometer away in the southeast. Let's go over and deal with them. Liang Jia nodded and followed Xu Jing's pace. Seeing this, Shu Wei also wanted to follow. But suddenly I remembered something I forgot to tell Brother Fei. He slapped his forehead in annoyance, then jumped to wave to Lin Fei, who had already walked away, and said, Brother Fei, you have to work hard. The higher the level you climb, the better. I'm optimistic about you. After shouting, he whispered to himself, Brother Fei had better climb to the top, so that I can enter Longguo Vocational University while lying down. When Xu Jing and Liang Jia heard this, they almost fell to the ground. You are an ordinary combat professional, and it is thanks to Lin Fei that you have been admitted to the top 10 prestigious schools in the Dragon Kingdom. Do you still want to enter the Dragon Kingdom Vocational University? What are you daydreaming about? Looking at the hopeless fat man dumbfounded, Liang Jia said angrily, stop your wishful thinking and hurry up and kill monsters together. Shu Wei defended unhappily. How can this be wishful thinking? If Brother Fei climbs to the top, then we can really enter Longguo Vocational University while lying down. Liang Jia had a dark look on her face when she heard this. Is this the point? Who doesn't know that if Lin Fei can climb to the top, the entire group can follow him and enter Longguo Vocational University? But can this be done? The highest record in Donghai Province's college entrance examination is only the 30th floor. It is simply impossible to climb to the highest level of 33rd layer. Liang Jia walked up to Fatty Shu with a dark face, pulled his ear and walked towards the southeast. The other side. Lin Fei naturally didn't hear Fatty Shu's shouting. He was looking seriously at the dozen monsters blocking the road not far away, and ordered to the undead ghost. Go with all your strength and destroy the monsters as soon as possible. We must reach the entrance to the 23rd floor as quickly as possible. After the undead ghost received the order, wisps of blue flames instantly appeared all around. When the dozens of monsters approached, the ghost fire floated over and immediately burned them to ashes, even level 12 monsters. Only one level 13 monster was seriously injured and endured the ghost fire. It rushed in front of the undead ghost and was killed by it with a sword. Lin Fei watched all this with a blank expression, having already expected this. The strength of the undead ghost has been upgraded to level 21. It is naturally easy to deal with these level 12 and 3 monsters. But Chen Zihan on the side couldn't look calmly. She clearly remembered that not long ago, ghost fire could not cause much damage to monsters above 10. How could even level 12 monsters be burned to death in the blink of an eye? Could it be that the strength of the undead ghosts has become stronger again? Chen Zihan was puzzled. But looking at Lin Fei, who had a calm expression on his face, he confirmed his guess. The strength of the undead ghosts has definitely become stronger again, otherwise it would be impossible to easily burn level 12 monsters with ghost fire alone. Thinking of this, Chen Zihan couldn't help but look at Lin Fei one more time. They just rested in place for 30 minutes. Unexpectedly, Lin Fei could actually use this little time to raise the strength of the undead ghost to another level. I really don't understand how he did it. Chen Zihan shook his head secretly, increasingly unable to understand Lin Fei's power. Silently and quickly followed Lin Fei. Under the powerful escort of the undead ghosts, the two of them traveled smoothly and arrived at the entrance to the 23rd floor in just 20 minutes, 3 times faster than she had previously estimated. After arriving here, Lin Fei rushed into the passage and entered the 23rd floor without any nonsense. Chen Zihan saw this and quickly followed. The landscape on the 23rd floor is a vast forest. Every tree was tall and thick with lush branches and leaves, and the two of them were as small as ants standing underneath. Lin Fei was not in a hurry, but Chen Zihan beside him said, "I have to rush to the entrance of the next level as fast as possible. I can't stop to kill monsters, so let's separate here." Chen Zihan probably guessed Lin Fei's intention, so he just nodded lightly after hearing it. Upon seeing this, Lin Fei continued, "Then I'll leave first, please take care of yourself." Chen Zihan nodded and responded, "Bon voyage." Then Lin Fei was seen moving quickly towards the entrance to the next level, and his figure quickly disappeared into the forest. He must be trying to climb to a higher level, otherwise he wouldn't be accelerating through these levels. But, how many levels is his target? If it's just the 28th or 29th floor, he doesn't need to be so anxious. Is it the 30th or 31st floor? Chen Zihan guessed that Lin Fei's purpose was to tie or even surpass the highest record in the college entrance examination in Donghai province. She glanced at the direction where Lin Fei disappeared with admiration in her heart. She took a deep breath of air, showed her dark blue dagger, and said to herself, "I am level 12, so the 23rd level is the best place for me to hunt monsters and gain points. Furthermore, my profession is that of an assassin, which is more suitable for me to act alone. Next, I will go all out and be admitted to Longguo Vocational University." With this in mind, she disappeared and began to hunt monsters in this dense forest to gain points. Donghai City College Entrance Examination Square. The VIP lounge area was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. Governor Wu Liang stared at the 33rd layer sky high in the sky without blinking his eyes. Qin Wanyu also sat aside without saying a word. Looking at the 33rd layer sky shadow that was lit up on the 26th floor, he really didn't know what to say. After a long time, the dull Wu Liang finally said, "The exam time is only half over now, right?" "That's right." Qin Wanyu nodded and said in a hoarse voice, 3 days, 1.5 days have passed now." "It only took a day and a half." Wu Liang took a deep breath and said with emotion, "At this time in previous years, the fastest group would have climbed to the 21st floor. But this year, someone actually climbed to the 26th floor in a day and a half. It's really awesome." Wu Liang's face was filled with emotion. Qin Wanyu was also a little sad. When he was taking the college entrance examination, he only climbed to the 20th floor in a day and a half. Compared to this guy who could climb to the 26th floor, it was far behind. Wu Liang leaned back on the chair. After thinking for a while, he said with a slightly excited tone, "It seems that the goal of your 4th child is far from being as simple as the 30th floor. If the goal is just the 30th floor, then you can slow down when you get to the 21st floor. But he's not slowing down now until the 26th floor. What does this mean? It means that his target is definitely not just the 30th floor, but probably the 31st or even the 32nd floor." Qin Wanyu nodded in agreement, then frowned and said, "It's good to have ideals, but can he really achieve them?" Before the college entrance examination, he and his son had already planned to enter the 21st floor in a day and a half, then slow down, hunt monsters, and move towards the 30th floor little by little. But what about now? Not only did he climb to the 21st floor in just 1 day. It didn't slow down even all the way to the 26th floor. This speed has far exceeded the original plan. I really don't understand how this kid did it. Qin Wanyu was full of doubts and heard Wu Liang say from the side, "Your fourth child has always been steady. Since he dares to do this and can really do it, he has his reasons. Let's just wait and see here. I really want to know what level he eventually climbs to. If he can really break Donghai Province's college entrance examination record, I'm afraid the old guys from those universities will be unable to sit still and rush to Donghai Province to grab people." Qin Wanyu felt relieved after hearing Wu Liang's words. At the same time, he felt hopeful that his son could really break the college entrance examination record of Donghai Province. It's just that they don't know. The Qin Hao they mentioned was still on the 20th floor of the 33rd layer. Finally arrived at the entrance to the 21st floor. Qin Hao looked at the black passage in front of him and breathed a long sigh of relief, but did not rush in. Lu Zi, who was beside him, saw that he had no intention of entering, so he couldn't help but urge, "There is only half the time for the college entrance examination, let's quickly enter the 21st floor to kill monsters." "What's the rush?" Qin Hao glanced at him lightly and said, "It only took us a day and a half to reach the entrance of the 21st floor. We were definitely the fastest group. Everyone was left behind us. Are you still afraid that they will surpass you?" Lu Zi smiled and did not dare to continue. He then heard Qin Hao continue to say, "Let me arrange some arrangements here before we enter the 21st floor." "Design it?" Lu Zi didn't quite understand what Qin Hao meant. Then he saw Qin Hao taking out some strange-looking red balls from the backpack space. Qin Hao handed these small balls to Lu Zi and ordered, "Have your skeleton warriors bury these things underground nearby." Lu Zi nodded and asked the skeleton warrior to do as Qin Hao said, and asked curiously, "What is this?" "A little gadget." Qin Hao looked at the busy skeleton warrior and said slowly, "It's not very useful, but it can attract all the monsters on the 20th floor here." "What?" Lu Zi was stunned when he heard this. Qin Hao saw a deep smile on his face again. "When all the monsters on the 20th floor gather here and block the entrance to the 21st floor, it will not be so easy for those behind to enter the 21st floor. You have to spend an hour or two more than normal, right?" Lu Zi suddenly realized what he said and blurted out, "Are you trying to use monsters to delay their time and prevent them from climbing to higher levels?" "That's right." Qin Hao smiled and nodded. "The level points account for a large proportion of the final score. To prevent them from climbing to higher levels in this way is to lower their performance in disguise. I will make the same arrangement at the entrance to each subsequent floor, so that many monsters will block the entrance. I think no one will be able to climb to the 26th floor except us this year." Lu Zi couldn't help but swallowed after hearing this, and couldn't help but said, "This is too." The word shameless was swallowed back by him in time. Of course Qin Hao understood what he meant and said lightly, "I want to rank higher. On the one hand, I have to climb to a higher level and get more points. On the other hand, it's also about preventing others from climbing to higher levels and gaining more points. This two-pronged approach can ensure that I win the top spot in the college entrance examination. Don't you understand this?" Lu Zi had nothing to say, and he even vaguely felt that what he said seemed to make some sense. But he asked with some concern, "If we do this, it won't be considered cheating, right? The discipline of the college entrance examination is very strict. Once found to be cheating, the exam qualification will be cancelled." "Don't worry, it won't happen," Qin Hao said very confidently. "As long as we don't do things to others openly and do small things behind the scenes, it's nothing at all." "Really?" Lu Zi still couldn't believe it. "Of course it's true." Qin Hao curled his lips and said, "Even if he is discovered, it can be said that he wants to use this thing to attract monsters and get more points for killing monsters. Who can find fault with it?" Lu Zi froze on the spot, not expecting to be able to play like this. Qin Hao looked at his unfamiliar face and sneered, "I just took advantage of a loophole in the rules. What's the fuss? You are only level 9, but because you join our group, you can get higher level points. Isn't this also taking advantage of the group points loophole? These loopholes in the rules are all tacitly allowed and can be exploited. Don't act like you have never seen the world." "All right." Lu Zi had nothing to say. He thought that he had learned a lot this time. It turned out that the water of the college entrance examination was so deep. Suddenly thinking of Lin Fei again, he frowned and said to Qin Hao, "If we do this, won't Lin Fei also be stuck at a lower level? If he can't keep up with us, how should we deal with him?" Qin Hao smiled and said confidently, "Don't worry, I have already made arrangements. He has level 15 strength and is expected to eventually reach level 23. So, I have arranged for someone to give him a small gift that I carefully prepared when I meet him on the 23rd floor to ensure that he can finish the college entrance examination early. Of course, if that person can meet Lin Fei in advance, Lin Fei will finish the college entrance examination earlier. The small gift I prepared for Lin Fei can help him finish the college entrance examination early." Qin Hao had a faint smile on his face. When he thought of Lin Fei's miserable state after failing the college entrance examination, his heart was filled with the pleasure of revenge. "It's a pity that I didn't meet Lin Fei along the way, otherwise I could personally help him finish the college entrance examination, and get the Dragon Power Scroll by the way." Qin Hao felt a little regretful. If he can get the Dragon Power Scroll, he will definitely win the top spot in the college entrance examination. But it doesn't matter even without the Dragon Power Scroll. With my current arrangement, it is enough to win the top spot in the college entrance examination. Qin Hao is full of confidence. Lu Zi on the side couldn't help laughing when he heard this. "Haha, Qin Xiaoyingming, Lin Fei is completely screwed this time. If the college entrance examination ends early, Lin Fei's grades will inevitably plummet. Don't talk about Longguo Vocational University at that time. Even if he is ranked among the top 10 prestigious schools in Dragon Kingdom, he will definitely not be able to get into it. This is the result of offending me and offending Master Qin." Lu Zi's heart was filled with joy. Shen Zihan's figure appeared in his mind again, and the smile on his face became even brighter. "Lin Fei is useless. You are just a main combat professional, so you can't even think about being admitted to Longguo Vocational University. I'm looking forward to seeing that after the college entrance examination results come out, you will see that I am ranked in the top 10. But Lin Fei is not even in the top 500, and then he looks regretful. Don't think that being the city lord's daughter is a big deal. Yesterday you ignored me, today I have made it impossible for you to reach your heights." Lu Zi enjoyed the joy of victory in advance. "I can't wait to see Lin Fei and Chen Zihan collapse after failing the college entrance examination." Qin Hao looked at dozens of skeleton warriors who had finished arranging the magnetic energy balls, and then said to Lu Zi and the others, "Let's enter the 21st floor. Once we get in, we start slowing down and hunting the monsters." According to the previous arrangement, Lu Zi's skeleton warriors are at the front, holding back and consuming the monsters. We will harvest the monsters at the rear and gain points. As Qin Hao spoke, his eyes fell on Lu Zi. Lu Zi nodded without any objection. These are all things that have been discussed long ago. His skeleton warrior is at the front, taking damage from monsters so that others can kill monsters faster and gain points. This can save time and energy to the greatest extent and improve the overall performance of the group. It was also because of this that Qin Hao took the initiative to invite him, a level 9 lord profession, to join the group. Currently, each of the skeleton warriors equipped by Qin Hao has level 15 strength. It is precisely because of this that they can reach the entrance of the 21st floor before others. Now, they have to continue to take advantage of the skeleton warriors and gain more points. Qin Hao looked at these dozens of skeleton warriors armed to the teeth and felt confident to attack the 30th floor of the 33rd layer. At the same time, I couldn't help but think to myself, if Lu Zi could be replaced by Lin Fei, then maybe I could even climb to the 31st floor, right? It's really shameful for Lin Fei to be so shameless and dare to refuse my invitation. Qin Hao felt a pain in his heart, snorted coldly, and said to the others, "Let's go." Then, dozens of skeleton warriors followed Qin Hao and the 5 of them into the 21st floor. After they left, the entrance to the 21st floor instantly became empty. But the emptiness didn't last long. The magnetic balls arranged by Qin Hao have already taken effect, forming a huge invisible magnetic field, attracting monsters to come continuously. In the first hour alone, there were 1,000 monsters gathered at the entrance to the 21st floor. After the second hour, the number of monsters exceeded 3,000, and there was a steady stream of monsters coming over. The third hour after Qin Hao and others left. Finally, two more groups arrived at the entrance to the 21st floor. Huh? What's going on? A strong man with a body as big as two people found that the entrance to the 21st floor was surrounded by thousands of monsters. His pupils shrank instantly and he quickly waved his hands to signal his teammates to stop advancing. Another team nearby also noticed something strange and stopped. Why are there so many monsters here blocking the entrance to the next level? The strong man looked at his four teammates, his rough voice filled with doubts. His four teammates looked at these thousands of monsters with equally confused faces, not sure what was going on. The previous 19th floor did not have this situation. How come when we reach the 20th floor, a large number of monsters suddenly block the entrance to the next floor? How could this happen? All five people were confused. The strong man scratched his head and thought for a long time but couldn't figure out the reason. So he turned to look at the group next to him and asked Zhao Meng, the leader of this group. Miss Zhao, do you know what's going on? Zhao Meng wears a gorgeous robe and a golden crown, giving people a holy and noble feeling. After hearing Chen Jilong's question, she did not answer immediately. She lowered her eyebrows and thought for a while, then took a deep breath and said, I'm afraid we have been tricked. Under normal circumstances, it would be impossible for so many monsters to block the entrance to the next level. This is absolutely man-made. What? Chen Jilong's eyes widened as he heard Zhao Meng continue. That person's purpose should be to use these monsters to delay our time, consume our physical strength and mana, and prevent us from climbing to a higher level. When Chen Jilong heard this, veins popped up on his forehead, his fists as big as sandbags clattered against his chest, and he gritted his teeth and said, Do you know who did it? I must make him pay the price. Zhao Meng lowered his face and expressed his suspicion. If you want to arrange all this, you must come here earlier than us. Among all the candidates, I'm afraid only Qin Hao has this strength. Before the college entrance examination, he formed a team composed entirely of hidden professionals. It is known as the strongest team and its goal is to be the top scorer in the college entrance examination. He must have done this to lower our grades so that it would be easier for him to get first place in the college entrance examination. After listening to Zhao Meng's analysis, Chen Jilong also felt that it made sense. He and Zhao Meng are both level 18 and are Qin Hao's biggest threat to winning the top spot in the college entrance examination. He does have the reason and the strength to do such an immoral thing. Thinking of this, Chen Jilong couldn't help but gnashed his teeth in hatred and said in a deep voice, When the college entrance examination is over, I will tell the governor about this and directly cancel his college entrance examination qualifications. It's useless. Zhao Meng shook his head and said solemnly, Since he dares to do this, he is not afraid of being found out by the provincial governor. He can definitely say that he wanted to kill more monsters, so he used this method to attract the monsters. If you explain it this way, he does not violate the college entrance examination rules, and naturally he will not be punished. When Chen Jilong heard this, his eyes widened immediately. Unexpectedly, he could not punish Qin Hao. He couldn't help but get angry and cursed. Qin Hao, this bastard, actually used such a despicable trick against us. It's really abominable. Qin Hao, this bastard, actually used such despicable tricks against us. It's really abominable. Chen Jilong was furious and wanted to kill that bastard Qin Hao right now. Zhao Meng was much calmer than him. He had calmed down and said calmly, in order to win the top spot in the college entrance examination, it's not surprising that he did such a thing. Not to mention, he just took advantage of a loophole in the rules, and he didn't attack us openly. This kind of exploiting loopholes in the rules is tacitly allowed, otherwise the loopholes would have been closed long ago. So, from the above point of view, Qin Hao's little move is actually nothing at all. Now, let's think about what to do next. Chen Jilong scratched his head after hearing this, not knowing what to do. Finally, he looked at Zhao Meng and asked, Miss Zhao, do you have any good ideas? Zhao dreamed for a while, frowned and said, I have no other choice but to rush over. I guess Qin Hao won't just arrange his methods at this entrance. I'm afraid the entrances to the next few floors will also be blocked by a large number of monsters. Let's temporarily join forces and catch up with Qin Hao as quickly as possible, so that monsters will not continue to block the entrance to the next floor. Chen Jilong nodded in agreement, and heard Zhao Meng sigh. However, no matter what, our college entrance examination results will eventually be affected. Chin Hao has succeeded in his goal. I'm afraid we won't be able to compete with him this time. When Chen Jilong heard this, his anger boiled in his chest again, and he gritted his teeth in anger. After he was promoted to level 18, he was determined to climb to at least level 29 in the college entrance examination and compete for the top spot in the college entrance examination. But now, because of Chin Hao's dirty tricks, he has to spend a lot of time at the lower levels. He will not have any extra time to attack the 29th and 30th floors, let alone compete for the top spot in the college entrance examination. At this moment, he was so angry that he really wanted to beat that bastard Chin Hao to death with his sandbag-sized fists. Zhao Meng is still calmer. While arranging the team members to prepare for action, he said to Chen Jilong, "Hurry up. Although these monsters are not very powerful, they can't stop us. But there are too many, and we may not be able to rush out within an hour." Chen Jilong nodded, temporarily suppressed the anger in his heart, and asked his 4 companions to prepare for action. Looking at the densely packed monsters ahead, he couldn't help but sigh. These monsters are of very low level, and you won't get many points if you kill them. Instead, you'll waste a lot of time, and the gain outweighs the gain. When he thought of this, Chen Jilong couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. I am afraid that I will really lose to Chin Hao in this college entrance examination. The others also looked helpless. Under the leadership of Zhao Meng, they inserted themselves into the monster army like an awl and kept moving towards the entrance of the 21st floor. Go up 7 floors from here. Lin Fei looked at the pitted and muddy swamp in front of him and breathed a sigh of relief. We finally entered the 28th floor. This journey has not been easy. Even with the escort of undead ghosts, it took him more than 10 hours to rush from the 23rd floor to the 28th floor. There is still more than 1 day left before the college entrance examination ends. This time is enough for me to reach the 33rd floor. Then, I will slow down from this level and kill a lot of monsters to gain points. Lin Fei looked at the green and poisonous swamp and muttered to himself. The monsters on the 28th floor have a minimum level of level 15, and you can get 50 points after killing them. The highest level 18 monster can get 150 points after killing it. I spent 4 or 5 hours hunting monsters on the 28th floor, and I could get at least 2,000 to 3,000 points. Thinking of this, Lin Fei's eyes burned brightly, and he couldn't wait to kill monsters and accumulate points. He has plenty of time now. There are also undead ghost assistants whose strength reaches level 21. You can definitely accumulate thousands of points on level 28. But before taking action, he checked the points in the current teleportation token. From the 1st to the 28th floor, most of the monsters on the road were killed by undead ghosts, so most of the points went to me. Currently, the points for killing monsters in the teleportation token have accumulated to 1026 points. Coupled with the 2,500 points from the 28th level, my total points now are 3,526 points. Even if I finish the college entrance examination now, I can still be in the top 50. However, college entrance examination points can be converted into points for students of Chengdu Vocational University. So, I have to continue killing monsters to gain points. No matter what, I have to get 20,000 to 30,000 points in the 33rd layer days. Lin Fei was very motivated. It's not enough just to win the top spot in the college entrance examination, he also needs to score a lot of points here. Although the top scorer in the college entrance examination last year only had more than 7,000 points. It is almost impossible to get 20,000 to 30,000 points in 33rd layer days. But just because others can't do something, doesn't mean you can't do it too. The undead ghost has level 21 strength, which is his greatest confidence. Lin Fei felt that he could definitely challenge this goal. Let's start. With a firm look in his eyes, Lin Fei led the undead ghosts to begin a sweep on the 28th floor. 4 hours later, the long sword of the undead ghost was stained with dark green monster blood. Lin Fei also fought his way through the 28th floor and reached the entrance of the 29th floor. In these 4 hours, I killed 3 level 18 monsters, 7 level 17 monsters, 12 level 16 monsters, and 36 level 15 monsters. A total of 3,790 points were obtained. Added to the previous 1026 points, The monster killing points in the teleportation token have reached 4,816 points. After entering the 29th level, the level points will be increased to 3,000 points. Then my total points are 7,816 points. This result has already surpassed last year's top scorer in the college entrance examination. After a little calculation, Lin Fei knew that his current points had exceeded the top scorer in last year's college entrance examination. He couldn't help but clench his fists, feeling very satisfied. Now there are more than 20 hours before the end of the college entrance examination. I can at least quadruple this score. I wonder what the highest score in Donghai Province's college entrance examination history is. Can I exceed it? Lin Fei looked forward to it, and then entered the 29th floor with the ghost of the undead. Entering the 30th floor, Qin Wanyu suddenly stood up from his seat. He stared at the 33rd layer sky in the distance with his eyes wide open, his clenched fists showing his inner unrest. Wu Liang also saw that the 30th layer of the 33rd layer sky was slowly lighting up, indicating that someone had entered the 30th layer of the 33rd layer sky, and he couldn't help but sigh. It's amazing. This has already tied the highest record in Donghai Province's college entrance examination. Moreover, there are still nearly 20 hours before the end of the college entrance examination. There is every chance to surpass the record and climb to the 31st or even 32nd floor. Old Qin, your Qin Hao is going to be in the limelight this year. Wu Liang turned to look at Qin Wanyu with a smile on his face. Qin Wanyu had already come out of the shock, suppressed the joy in his heart, and said humbly, good luck, it's hard to say what will happen next. In the 30th floor, there are many level 18 monsters, and even level 19 monsters will appear. Qin Hao may not be able to enter the 31st floor. Wu Liang shook his head with a smile, pointed at Qin Wanyu, and said jokingly, Old Qin, you are too humble. You must know that excessive modesty is pride. Qin Wanyu didn't answer, but he no longer pretended to be humble, and the smile on his face became even brighter. The original plan was that he would be satisfied if his son could finally enter the 30th floor. Unexpectedly, his son actually gave him a big surprise now. It only took more than 2 days to reach the 30th floor, tying the college entrance examination record. With nearly a day left, there is every hope of surpassing the college entrance examination record. Outstanding and outstanding, he is worthy of being my son, Qin Wanyu. This year, I have gained a lot of reputation with Governor Liu because of him. Qin Wanyu felt proud of Qin Hao, and then heard Wu Liang continue. I remember that the guy who set the 30-level record back then had a final total of 10,560 points. The level points for the 31st floor are 5,000, and the level points for the 32nd floor are 7,000. Even if Qin Hao only enters the 31st floor, the total points will definitely exceed 10,000, setting a new points record. Qin Wanyu smiled and nodded. This was the proper meaning of the question. The two were talking excitedly. Suddenly there was a golden stream of light, streaking across the top of Donghai City at great speed. Who? How dare you fly over our Donghai City? The smile on Wu Liang's face stopped suddenly. He waved his sleeves and his expression became very serious. There is a no-fly rule over Donghai City. This is an iron rule, and even he himself is no exception. Now there are actually people who dare to fly over Donghai City in front of me. I really don't know what to say. Qin Wanyu also saw the golden light, frowned, and said in a deep voice, My lord, don't be anxious. The city's no-fly order only applies to professionals below level 50, but does not include those above level 50. Maybe those who come are not bound by the no-fly order. He is coming towards us now. Please don't get angry for now, wait until he comes. Wu Liang's face brightened slightly when he heard this, and he nodded, keeping his eyes fixed on the golden stream of light. I saw that golden stream of light flying towards me at an extremely fast speed. Entering the 30th floor, Qin Wanyu suddenly stood up from his seat. He stared at the 33rd layer sky in the distance with his eyes wide open, his clenched fists showing his inner unrest. Wu Liang also saw that the 30th layer of the 33rd layer sky was slowly lighting up, indicating that someone had entered the 30th layer of the 33rd layer sky, and he couldn't help but sigh. It's amazing. This has already tied the highest record in Donghai Province's college entrance examination. Moreover, There are still nearly 20 hours before the end of the college entrance examination. There is every chance to surpass the record and climb to the 31st or even 32nd floor. Old Qin, your Qin Hao is going to be in the limelight this year. Wu Liang turned to look at Qin Wanyu with a smile on his face. Qin Wanyu had already come out of the shock, suppressed the joy in his heart, and said humbly, good luck, it's hard to say what will happen next. In the 30th floor, there are many level 18 monsters, and even level 19 monsters will appear. Qin Hao may not be able to enter the 31st floor. Wu Liang shook his head with a smile, pointed at Qin Wanyu, and said jokingly, old Qin, you are too humble. You must know that excessive modesty is pride. Qin Wanyu didn't answer, but he no longer pretended to be humble, and the smile on his face became even brighter. The original plan was that he would be satisfied if his son could finally enter the 30th floor. Unexpectedly, his son actually gave him a big surprise now. It only took more than 2 days to reach the 30th floor, tying the college entrance examination record. With nearly a day left, there is every hope of surpassing the college entrance examination record. Outstanding and outstanding, he is worthy of being my son, Qin Wanyu. This year, I have gained a lot of reputation with Governor Liu because of him. Qin Wanyu felt proud of Qin Hao, and then heard Wu Liang continue. I remember that the guy who set the 30-level record back then had a final total of 10,560 points. The level points for the 31st floor are 5,000, and the level points for the 32nd floor are 7,000. Even if Qin Hao only enters the 31st floor, the total points will definitely exceed 10,000, setting a new points record. Qin Wanyu smiled and nodded. This was the proper meaning of the question. The two were talking excitedly. Suddenly there was a golden stream of light, streaking across the top of Donghai City at great speed. Who? How dare you fly over our Donghai City? The smile on Wu Liang's face stopped suddenly. He waved his sleeves and his expression became very serious. There is a no-fly rule over Donghai City. This is an iron rule, and even he himself is no exception. Now there are actually people who dare to fly over Donghai City in front of me. I really don't know what to say. Qin Wanyu also saw the golden light, frowned, and said in a deep voice, my lord, don't be anxious. The city's no-fly order only applies to professionals below level 50, but does not include those above level 50. Maybe those who come are not bound by the no-fly order. He is coming towards us now. Please don't get angry for now, wait until he comes. Wu Liang's face brightened slightly when he heard this, and he nodded, keeping his eyes fixed on the golden stream of light. I saw that golden stream of light flying towards me at an extremely fast speed. Governor Wu is being humble. This is not basic accomplishment. Inspector Qi he shook his head, with memories on his face, and continued to talk wildly. It only took 1 day to reach the 21st floor. How many years has it been since the Longguo College entrance examination? There has been such a person. I remember the last time it appeared was more than 20 years ago, during the college entrance examination in Longjing. At that time, that person's final result was to reach the 32nd level of 33rd layer, with a total score of 15,000 points, setting a new record in the Longjing College entrance examination. Until now, this record has not been broken. Such a character also appeared in your Donghai province this year. Do you think I can come over and take a look? Inspector Qi he looked at Wu Liang with a smile. Wu Liang smiled and couldn't help but feel proud of it. A genius of this level emerged under his own rule, and he even attracted the inspector to come and pay attention to him. Of course, he was proud of it. Seeing that the inspector paid so much attention to it, Qin Wanyu thought for a moment and then said, when the inspector mentioned this, I suddenly remembered it. If I remember correctly, the man who set the record in Longjing more than 20 years ago seems to have now reached the top of our Dragon Kingdom. That's right. Qi he nodded and said with a look of admiration. That man who is already the mainstay of our Dragon Kingdom is far more powerful than me. I'm afraid it will be difficult for him to keep up with him in this life. He did not mention the man's name. Qin Wanyu also knew him well enough that he didn't dare to name that person. Then he said meaningfully, this little guy from our Donghai province has now climbed to the 30th floor. I really don't know if I will ever have the chance to catch up with that adult. Hearing this, Qi was surprised for a moment. Oh? Have you entered the 30th floor? Turning his head to look at the 33rd layer sky shadow in the distance. Realizing that it was as Qin Wanyu said, the little guy had really entered the 30th floor, he couldn't help but express a solemn expression, with excitement in his tone. There are still more than 20 hours before the end of the college entrance examination, and he has already reached the 30th floor layer. That adult's climbing speed back then was slightly slower than what he does now. If nothing else happens, this little guy may really be able to match that adult's achievements back then. When Qin Wanyu heard this, he pretended to be surprised and said, "Is what the inspector said true?" He nodded seriously. Then Qin Wanyu pretended to be emotional and said, "I am truly lucky to be able to witness with my own eyes the glory of that great man, reappearing in my college entrance examination in Donghai province." He nodded in agreement, and then said, "If he really reaches the 32nd level of the 33rd layer, I will definitely report it to Longguo Vocational University and focus on training this person. Maybe 20 years from now, our Dragon Kingdom will have another peerless strong man." Qin Wanyu was very excited when he heard this. "My heart said, 'Son, this is all I can do for you.'" Then he nodded with a smile and said no more. Wu Liang next to him had been listening quietly, but looked at Qin Wanyu with surprise in his eyes. Wasn't this guy quite humble before? Why did he change his usual behavior and start bragging as soon as the inspector arrived? Isn't this unreasonable? Wu Liang was confused. It wasn't until he heard He's last words that he suddenly realized. The 5 college entrance examination inspectors are all temporarily served by high-level teachers from Longguo Vocational University. Qin Wanyu boasted about Qin Hao in front of the inspector in order to use him to make Longguo Vocational University pay more attention to Qin Hao and pave the way for Qin Hao to enter Longguo Vocational University. This guy is really as scheming as ever. Wu Liang took a deep look at Qin Wanyu, and then said to Chihei, "There is less than 1 day left before the college entrance examination ends, so the inspection envoy might as well wait a moment. As soon as the college entrance examination is over, the final results will come out immediately, and we can also meet this amazing little guy." He smiled and shook his head when he heard this, turned to face 33rd layer Sky Xiang, and said lightly, "You don't have to wait so long, let's take a look at this little guy's style in 33rd layer Sky now." After saying that, he waved his hand. Countless golden lights emerged around him, and then gathered in front of the 3 people, forming a huge golden curtain. "This is it?" Wu Liang and Qin Wanyu were surprised. He explained calmly, "With a little trick, we can directly see the scene in the 33rd layer Sky." Wu Liang and Qin Wanyu looked at each other in shock when they heard this. The latter looked at Wu Liang even more, as if to say, "If there is such a method, why don't you use it?" Wu Liang shook his head slightly. This was the first time he had heard of this method. He noticed the small movements of the 2 people and explained more. "The 33rd layer Tien is originally an artificial secret realm created by our Longguo Vocational University. We naturally have means to explore the internal situation, but this method has been kept secret from the outside world. It's normal that you don't know." Wu Liang and the others understood, and then looked at the golden screen in front of them together. Under He's control, pictures began to appear on the golden screen, which was the situation on the 30th floor of the 33rd layer. "Is this the little guy?" He saw Lin Fei's figure appearing on the screen and said to himself, "Lord of the Undead? The only hidden profession? Not bad." He was very powerful, so he could naturally read a lot of information from Lin Fei. Seeing that Lin Fei was confronting 2 level 19 monsters with the undead ghosts at this time, he couldn't help but be moved and said, "This little guy is very brave, he actually dares to provoke 2 level 19 monsters at once. These 2 level 19 monsters are not easy to deal with. I don't know how this little guy will deal with them next." He looked at the screen expectantly. On the screen, 2 level 19 monsters, one on the left and one on the right, were attacking Lin Fei. Lin Fei had no expression on his face and stood still, while the undead ghost beside him had appeared in front of the 2 monsters like a ghost, and then fought with them. "The speed is good." He's eyes suddenly lit up when he saw the ghostly figure of the undead ghost, and he praised with a smile. He also saw that although the undead ghost was besieged by 2 level 19 monsters, it did not lose at all during the battle. He couldn't help stroking his hands and smiling. No wonder you dare to provoke two level 19 monsters at once. It turns out to be so strong. That's right. If you didn't have such strong strength, you wouldn't have been able to reach the 30th floor so quickly. Now I am looking forward to this little guy's college entrance examination results more and more. He put his hands behind his back and looked at Lin Fei in the screen with a smile. Suddenly he caught a glimpse of Wu Liang and Qin Wanyu beside him with very strange expressions. He couldn't help but raise his eyebrows and asked curiously, "What's going on with you two? Is there any problem?" Governor Wu looked surprised and stood there in a daze. After hearing He's question, he turned around, gave him a forced smile, and replied somewhat sluggishly, "No. No problem, it's just the first time I saw this little guy, so I was a little too excited." He looked up at Lin Fei in the screen, with a smile on his face, but in fact, his heart was full of question marks. Who is this person? Didn't it say that the person who entered the 30th floor was Qin Hao? How come when the inspector opens the screen, this person is the one staying on the 30th floor? Could it be that Qin Wanyu and I have guessed wrong all along? If so, where did this person come from? Why haven't you heard of this person before the college entrance examination? Governor Wu was surprised. This person was neither Qin Hao nor Chen Jialong and Zhao Meng whom he was familiar with, but an unfamiliar face that he had never seen before. Why did such a famous figure suddenly appear after the college entrance examination started? It's really surprising. Governor Wu shook his head secretly. Since he didn't know this person, he could only wait until the college entrance examination was over before investigating his identity. Slowly suppress the surprise in your heart. Wu Liang looked at Lin Fei in the screen, his eyes full of appreciation. Whether this person is Qin Hao or not is not important to him. As long as he can get good grades in the college entrance examination, that's a great thing. Wu Liang was slightly surprised to see that the person on the 30th floor was Lin Fei. The one who really felt extremely embarrassed was Qin Wanyu next to him. Qin Wanyu's head buzzed and went blank. Looking at the figure in the picture, he looked in disbelief. Who is this guy? Isn't the person who entered the 30th floor Qin Hao? Why have you become someone else now? This isn't right. Can anyone tell me what's going on? Qin Wanyu was stunned on the spot. It took him a while to come back to his senses, and he looked at Lin Fei in the picture with an embarrassed look on his face, feeling mixed in his heart. It turned out that I had guessed wrong all along. The person who climbed to the 21st floor in one day and then rushed all the way to the 30th floor was not Qin Hao at all. Fortunately, I had been bragging self-righteously with Governor Wu for a long time. Thinking about it now makes me blush, and I want to find a hole in the ground to burrow into. Not to mention that he deliberately acted in front of the inspector and wanted to pave the way for Qin Hao to enter Longguo Vocational University. Now it seems like a joke. It took a long time. The one who entered the 30th floor was not his son at all. But he was acting as self-righteous as a clown, working in vain. How ridiculous. Qin Wanyu's embarrassed toes can now dig out 3 rooms and 1 living room. It took a while to calm down my irritable heart. At the same time, the same doubts as Wu Liang arose in his mind. Before the college entrance examination in Donghai province, there were only a few famous candidates. Chen Jialong and Zhao Meng of level 18, and Qin Hao who formed the strongest team. But the person in front of him is neither Chen Jialong, Zhao Meng, nor his son Qin Hao. Then where did he come from? How could he be so powerful? Even Chen Jialong, Zhao Meng, and Qin Hao couldn't compare. Why hadn't I heard of such a number 1 figure before I took the college entrance examination? Qin Wanyu was confused. The Inspector He next to him was also curious about Lin Fei's identity. Looking at the picture, the undead ghost defeated 2 level 19 monsters within a few dozen moves. He couldn't help but look at Lin Fei a little more highly. He turned to look at Wu Liang and asked, "Governor Wu, do you know this? The little guy's identity? He can defeat 2 level 19 monsters so easily. His strength is at least level 20 or above. With this strength, even among the new students in the entire Dragon Kingdom, they are still outstanding, and they are very likely to reach the 32nd floor in the end. I want to find out the identity of this little guy, then report it to the school and focus on training him." Wu Liang looked at Lin Fei in the picture and thought about it carefully, but there was no memory related to Lin Fei in his mind, so he could only shake his head slowly and said, I haven't seen him either. He is not a candidate from Donghai City. He should be a candidate from one of the cities below. Besides, I had never heard of him before the college entrance examination. It was like he appeared out of nowhere and suddenly emerged in the college entrance examination. I don't know his origin yet. Shi nodded when he heard this and said nothing more. There are nearly 100,000 candidates in Donghai province, and it is impossible for Wu Liang to know every one of them. Suddenly, he discovered that Qin Wanyu was staring at Lin Fei closely, his brows furrowed, and he seemed to be lost in thought, as if he knew something. He looked at him and asked, Does the Qin family master know this little guy? Qin Wanyu suddenly became excited. After he reacted, he looked suspicious and said in an uncertain tone, It looks familiar, but I can't remember where I've seen him before. Let me think about it. Where have I seen it before? Qin Wanyu frowned and tried his best to remember, but he couldn't remember anything, which made him very uncomfortable. When Wu Liang saw this, he didn't want to embarrass him anymore. He reached out and patted his shoulder and said, Forget it if you can't remember. After the college entrance examination is over and the scoreboard comes out, we will naturally know his identity. When the time comes, I will send someone to the city below to take him to Donghai City. Qin Wanyu nodded and relaxed his brows. Hearing Wu Liang say that he was going to send someone to the city below, an idea suddenly flashed in his mind, and forgotten memories came to mind. He couldn't help but blurt out, He is Lin Fei. Lin Fei. He and Wu Liang looked at each other, and the latter looked at Qin Wanyu and asked, Are you sure? How do you know? Qin Wanyu nodded heavily and said, I'm sure, he is Lin Fei from Riverside City. I have read his information. After saying that, he looked up at Lin Fei in the picture. Qin Wanyu's eyes became very complicated. Before the college entrance examination, Qin Hao went to Riverside City to invite Lin Fei to form a team. He knew about this. He even read the information on Lin Fei that Qin Hao specially collected. But later when he heard from Qin Hao that the invitation failed, he didn't take it to heart anymore. Unexpectedly, I would see Lin Fei again now. Moreover, he made a splash in the college entrance examination, and now he has entered the 30th floor, and there is even hope of reaching the 32nd floor. I really didn't expect that Lin Fei, whom I didn't take seriously, turned out to be so powerful. Pity. If Qin Hao could form a team with him, he might have entered the 30th floor by now. Qin Wanyu felt regretful. After he got a positive answer from Qin Wanyu, he secretly wrote down Lin Fei's name, thinking that when he returned to school, he would report the matter and let the school focus on cultivating Lin Fei. Wu Liang, who was on the side, suddenly felt familiar after hearing the word Lin Fei, but he couldn't remember it either. Turning to look at Qin Wanyu, before asking, Qin Wanyu explained. This Lin Fei is the guy who cleared the difficult level dungeon in 10 hours in the novice trial. When Qin Wanyu said this, Wu Liang remembered it instantly and turned to look at Lin Fei with a smile on his face. No wonder this name sounds familiar. It turned out that it was reported by Riverside City, the little guy who cleared the difficult level dungeon in 10 hours. Chen Han's life is really good. Last year, Riverside City had a candidate who ranked 23rd in the college entrance examination. Unexpectedly, a more powerful figure will appear this year, and he can even set a new record in the Donghai Province college entrance examination. He has been the lord of Riverside City for more than 10 years, and it's time for him to move up. Wu Liang had a lot of thoughts in his mind. Qi on the side also nodded in agreement after hearing Qin Wanyu's words. Although the novice dungeon is specially used for new career changers and has a low difficulty level, the difficult level dungeon is still a test of strength. Being able to clear difficult level dungeons by just clearing the level right after awakening his profession, this Lin Fei is indeed worthy of our Longguo Vocational University's focus on training. Qin Wanyu opened his mouth when he heard this. I want to say, in fact, my son also cleared the difficult level dungeon alone. But when I thought about it, it was also a difficult level dungeon. Lin Fei had already climbed to the 30th floor, while Qin Hao was still struggling on the 20th floor. The gap was a bit big, and he was really embarrassed to say it. What's more, although Qin Hao also cleared the difficult level dungeon by himself, it took much longer than Lin Fei. With Lin Fei's pearls in front of him, Qin Hao's achievement is really nothing, and saying it will only make him laugh. Qin Wanyu had no choice but to shut up and remain silent. He didn't notice the hesitation he was about to say. He turned to look at Lin Fei. With a tap of his finger in the air, the points in Lin Fei's teleportation token appeared on the golden screen in front of him. The points for killing monsters in the teleportation token have actually accumulated to 9,527 points. Plus 4,000 level points for the 30th level. Lin Fei's total points now are 0.13527 points. The inspection made he look surprised. He didn't expect Lin Fei's total points to be so high. You know, he has just entered the 30th floor. The adult climbed to the 32nd floor, and his final total points were only 15,000 points. Lin Fei had just entered the 30th floor, and his total points had already caught up with the adult's final score. It's really unimaginable. He looked moved and sighed. This Lin Fei is even more powerful than I imagined. When he reaches the 32nd floor, his total points will probably reach 20,000 points, and even that adult will surpass him. The provincial governor next to him, Wu Liang, also realized this, and the admiration in his eyes became even stronger. Lin Fei's current points have already broken the record for the highest points in the history of Donghai province. Later on, I can even surpass that adult's performance. Donghai province is really lucky to have such a genius born. It is completely conceivable how high Lin Fei's achievements will be in the future. As long as there are no accidents along the way, he will definitely be able to reach the top of the Dragon Kingdom. And the record he set in the college entrance examination may not be broken by anyone for decades or hundreds of years. The more Wu Liang thought about it, the more excited he became. Qin Wanyu next to him also saw Lin Fei's bright future and was amazed by it. At the same time, I was still feeling in my heart how great it would be if Lin Fei could be replaced by Qin Hao. With such achievements and talent, the Qin family may not only be the first family in Donghai province in the future, but may also be among the best in the entire Dragon Kingdom. It's a pity that there is no if. Qin Wanyu just imagined in his mind that the most important thing now was to consider trying to recruit Lin Fei after the college entrance examination. Lin Fei's future is bright, and it is entirely possible for him to be on par with that adult in the future, or even surpass him. It is definitely worth recruiting and investing in Qin family. Riverside City, right? After the college entrance examination, I will go there and win over Lin Fei personally. Qin Wanyu thought secretly in his heart. Little did he know that his son Qin Hao had already arranged for someone to deal with Lin Fei in the college entrance examination. It's just that Lin Fei's climbing speed was too fast, and he left everyone far behind. Qin Hao's plan was destined to fail. But Qin Hao will not stop here. After all, he is bound to get the Dragon Power Scroll. Qin Hao's deliberate attempts to deal with Lin Fei doomed Qin Wanyu's attempt to win over Lin Fei to nothing. He looked at Lin Fei in the picture and pondered for a moment, then turned to Wu Liang and said, "Governor Wu, after the college entrance examination is over, please send someone to guide me. I will go to Riverside City to pick up Lin Fei in person." Lin Fei's current performance alone was enough for him to go there in person and pick him up, so that other schools would not hear about it and offer a sky-high price to have Lin Fei cut off in advance. Wu Guangming nodded and agreed, not surprised at all by He's behavior. After all, it has become a tradition for major prestigious schools to compete for some particularly outstanding candidates. If He was not more active, Lin Fei might really be intercepted by the second or third ranked schools. When Qin Wanyu saw that he was going to pick up Lin Fei in person, he naturally did not want to miss this opportunity, so he recommended himself. "No need to bother the governor. I know Lin Fei's situation fairly well, and I can accompany the inspector to Riverside City." "Then thank you, Lord Qin family." He nodded in agreement, looked at the golden screen, stretched out his hand, and the screen instantly split into two halves. Half of them were Lin Fei, who was searching for monsters on the 30th floor. The other half shows the 24th floor. Well, Qin Hao and the others have already reached the 24th floor, and will soon enter the 25th floor. The progress is not slow. Governor Wu looked at Qin Hao and others on the screen and spoke first. Qin Wanyu also nodded and continued. "There is still nearly a day before the end of the college entrance examination. At this speed, it will not be a problem for them to reach the 29th floor. There is even hope for them to attack the 30th floor. When he said this, he felt mixed emotions in his heart. He had previously thought that Lin Fei was Qin Hao, but when he saw that the progress was so fast, far exceeding the original plan, he was so excited that he thought his son had given him a big surprise. At the end of the day, it turned out that this was all Lin Fei's fault and had nothing to do with his son. He was just happy for nothing. Qin Hao's actual progress was the same as planned before the college entrance examination, and there was no change at all. I was really wishful thinking before, and I never thought about it. How could Qin Hao be so powerful with his little ability? The result was such a joke for nothing. Qin Wanyu was filled with emotion in his heart. Shihi, who was at the front, nodded after hearing the two people's words, non-committal. It stands to reason that Qin Hao and others are already making very good progress. In the end, there is hope of reaching the 30th floor, tying Donghai Province's college entrance examination record, and even better than the top scorer in last year's college entrance examination. But Lin Fei was too dazzling. All their limelight was overshadowed by Lin Fei's light, making them seem too insignificant and unworthy of mention. Seeing Shihi's lack of interest, Wu Liang went up to his son and introduced him. Master Inspector, the professional dragon master who controls the black dragon is Qin Hao, the fourth son of the head of the Qin family. He was promoted to level 17 before the college entrance examination. He formed a team composed entirely of hidden professionals, with great hope of reaching the 30th floor. And the two people at the back, Shen Jialong, a berserker professional, and Zhao Meng, a holy angel professional, were promoted to level 18 before the college entrance examination. Their final results will not be worse than Qin Hao's. In the screen, in addition to Qin Hao's group consisting of 5 hidden professionals and dozens of skeleton warriors, there are also 2 groups of Zhao Meng and Shen Jialong. They had already entered the 24th floor and had already caught up with Qin Hao's group. After listening to Wu Liang's introduction, Shihi nodded affirmatively. These 3 people are not bad. After they enter Longguo Vocational University, they can take more care of them. Then he reached out and clicked in the void. A beam of golden light flew out from his fingertips and floated into the golden curtain. Then the current achievements of these 3 people were displayed on the golden screen. Huh? He was surprised when he saw the results of these 3 people, and couldn't help but wonder. Qin Hao's monster killing points reached 3,389 points. This is quite normal. But how come Zhao Meng and Shen Jialong's monster killing points are only 2,000 points? What did they do before? How could they fall so far behind Qin Hao? Aren't they stronger than Qin Hao? Yeah, it's really strange. Their progress is obviously the same, but why are Zhao Meng and Shen Jialong's monster killing points so much lower than Qin Hao's? Wu Liang was also confused, his face full of confusion. It stands to reason that Zhao Meng and Shen Jialong are stronger than Qin Hao and should have more points for killing monsters than him. Now it's reversed. Both of them have a lot less points than Qin Hao, and are only higher than Qin Hao's 4 team members. This is really weird. Wu Liang didn't understand what was going on for a while. Qin Wanyu on the side was expressionless and silent. Of course he knew Qin Hao's plan, so he was not surprised at all that Zhao Meng and Shen Jialong had lower points than Qin Hao. I just couldn't help but sigh secretly. If it were not for Lin Fei, Qin Hao's goal would have been achieved, and he would be the top scorer in the college entrance examination. But Lin Fei is here. Even if Qin Hao used small tricks to lower the points of Zhao Meng and Shen Jialong, he still couldn't get the top spot in the college entrance examination. So what's the point of him doing these things? Fetching water from a bamboo basket was in vain and offended many people. What a miscalculation. Qin Wanyu sighed inwardly and looked at Qin Hao in the picture with complicated eyes. Within the screen, Qin Haogang was about to continue placing magnetic balls at the entrance to the 25th floor, attracting a large number of monsters to block the entrance, and then he saw Zhao Meng and others chasing after him. Hey, I caught up so quickly. Qin Hao raised his eyebrows and chuckled in his heart, but he wasn't too surprised. If they use a large number of monsters to block the entrance to the next level, they will only have 2 choices. The first is to slow down and take time to slowly hunt monsters. In this case, they can get some points for killing monsters, but there will be no extra time to climb to higher levels, and the final level points will be very low. The second is to speed up and catch up with yourself as fast as possible. In this case, they can climb to a high level and their level points will not be low, but because you have to chase yourself and don't have time to hunt monsters, your points for killing monsters will be very low. Of these two options, no matter which one they choose, one of the level points and monster killing points must be low. In this case, the final total points will definitely not be able to catch up with themselves. Seeing that the two of them had caught up with him so quickly, Qin Hao knew that they had chosen the second option. Quite sensible. The two options may seem similar, but in fact the second one is better than the first. After all, low-level monsters have low points, and you can't get many points by spending time hunting them. It's better to catch up with me as quickly as possible, wait to enter the high level, get more level points, and hunt high-level monsters at the same time. Qin Hao's eyes flashed with appreciation. It is not easy for these two people to make the most correct choice in a short period of time. Unfortunately, it's still useless. If you spend time chasing me, you won't have time to hunt monsters, and your monster killing points will definitely be a lot less than mine now. Even if the subsequent performance is not worse than mine, the final total points will definitely be lower than mine. My purpose has now been achieved. The top scorer in the college entrance examination must be me. A smile appeared on Qin Hao's face, and he felt like he was winning. Calmly put the magnetic ball back into the backpack space. He turned around and smiled at Zhao Meng and others, and said in a frivolous tone, "Sister Zhao Meng, brother Chen Jialong, you have finally caught up. I have been waiting for you on the 24th floor for a long time." Seeing him acting as if nothing had happened, looking innocent, those who didn't know it really thought that it wasn't him who had used dirty tricks against Zhao Meng and the two of them before. Of course Zhao Meng knew that Qin Hao was playing him, so he stared at Qin Hao coldly with no expression on his face. Chen Jialong on the side could no longer suppress his fiery temper and wanted to tear Qin Hao to pieces right now. "You bastard, how dare you use obscene and despicable means to plot against us? I have to teach you a lesson today to let you know that you have to be upright and you have to pay the price for those little tricks." Chen Jialong had blue veins popping out on his forehead. He rubbed his fists and slowly walked towards Qin Hao. It seemed that he wanted to beat Qin Hao on the spot. But Qin Hao seemed unaware and still stood there, looking at the angry Chen Jialong with a smile. After a few seconds, he said with an innocent face, "Brother Chen Jialong, what are you talking about? Why can't I understand a word? Also, during the college entrance examination, taking action against other candidates is against the rules and will result in disqualification of the college entrance examination. Aren't you afraid of being disqualified from taking the exam if you want to attack me?" When Chen Jialong heard this, he paused and stopped moving his hands. Only his two eyes were still staring at Qin Hao. Seeing the smile on Qin Hao's face getting deeper, he continued, "This is the right thing to do. It is strictly forbidden to do anything during the college entrance examination. Everyone must abide by this rule. Although I don't know why you are dissatisfied with me, I am still very happy to see that you are willing to abide by the rules of the college entrance examination. Calm down and don't be impulsive. Don't ruin your bright future just because of your anger." When Chen Jialong heard these strange words, the veins on his forehead jumped twice, and he was even more furious. He wished he could ignore the college entrance examination rules and kill this bastard now. Zhao Meng didn't know when she came to him. She stretched out her hand to block him. At the same time, she shook her head slightly to signal him not to be impulsive. Chen Jialong took a deep breath and tried his best to calm down his inner impulse. Then he looked at Qin Hao and said in a bad tone, "Just hide behind the rules and be a coward. I'll see how long these rules can protect you." Qin Hao smiled nonchalantly, and then his aura suddenly changed, and he became very fierce. He said in an indifferent voice, "If I don't have the same experience as you, you don't really think that I am afraid of you, do you? If you don't accept it, just give it a try and see if you have the ability to defeat me." His eyes were sharp and he showed no fear in his heart. The black dragon Xiaoyi beside him has taken the initiative to fly forward, exhaling dragon breath from his nose, and his momentum is amazing. Lu Zi also snapped his fingers, and dozens of skeleton warriors with level 15 strength immediately surrounded them, firmly suppressing Chen Jialong and others in terms of momentum. Since he dared to do this, Qin Hao was naturally not afraid of offending Zhao Meng and Chen Jialong. He is now level 18. If he really wants to take action, it is still unknown who will win and who will lose. What's more, he is not alone. With so many helpers around, they are not afraid of Zhao Meng and Chen Jialong at all. Chen Jialong looked at the menacing Qin Hao and the skeleton army and couldn't help frowning, his face not looking good. If it were a one-on-one duel, he would not be afraid at all and would have a great chance of winning. But he didn't expect Qin Hao to prepare so many powerful skeleton warriors. In addition, his team members are very powerful hidden professionals. If you really want to take action, I'm afraid I won't take advantage. What's more, the college entrance examination strictly prohibits internal fighting among candidates, and you can't do it yourself. Thinking of this, Chen Jialong was a little angry for a moment. It was really hateful that he had no way to deal with Qin Hao now. Zhao Meng, who was next to him, also realized this and signaled Chen Jialong not to be impulsive. Then he looked at Qin Hao and said calmly, "Use the loopholes in the college entrance examination rules to let a large number of monsters block the entrance to the next level, delay our time and lower our grades. You are really good at it. I admit, I did misjudge you before, and I actually treated you as a gentleman." Qin Hao naturally couldn't admit it. He pretended to be stupid and made an exaggerated expression. "What? There are a large number of monsters blocking the entrance to the next floor. How could this happen?" Then he patted his chest happily and said, "Fortunately, we walked faster, otherwise if we encountered monsters blocking the door, my points would be a lot less than normal." His words were full of sarcasm, and Chen Jialong's face became even more ugly. Zhao Meng couldn't help but snorted coldly, and said calmly, "Stop pretending, I know you did all this behind your back." Qin Hao shook his head and said sincerely, "I really don't know anything. Sister Zhao Meng, please don't wrongly accuse a good person. It is impossible to admit. I use the magnetic ball to attract monsters and gain points for killing monsters. As for blocking the entry of people behind, that was purely an accident and had nothing to do with him at all." Zhao Meng also saw that this guy refused to admit it, and said coldly, "You succeeded this time, but I advise you not to be too proud. Let's wait and see after the college entrance examination is over." Chen Jialong nodded heavily at the side, his fists collided with his chest, his muscles were taut, and he stared at Qin Hao with a bad tone and said, "That's right, I will let you be proud for a while now. After the college entrance examination is over, we will calculate the general ledger." Qin Hao sneered when he heard this, not caring about the threats from the two men. The Qin family is the first family in Donghai province. Outside, it was impossible for the two of them to do anything to him. Zhao Meng obviously knew this and continued, "In Donghai province, we really can't do anything to you, but that won't be the case when you get to Longguo Vocational University. Let's just wait and see." Qin Hao pouted, still looking indifferent, and even couldn't help but laugh out loud. "When the college entrance examination is over, I will directly enter the top class of Longguo Vocational University as the top scorer in the college entrance examination of Donghai province. In the top class, I will enjoy the best resources and treatment, while you are just ordinary students. By then, I'm afraid you won't even be able to catch up with me, and you still want to deal with me? Isn't that too wishful thinking?" After saying that, he ignored Zhao Meng and Chen Jialong, who looked ugly, waved his hand, and led Lu Zi and the other four to the transmission channel and entered the 25th floor. Zhao Meng and others had already caught up with him, so there was no need for him to waste time continuing to arrange the magnetic balls. But it doesn't matter, his goal has been achieved anyway. It is impossible for Zhao Meng and Chen Jialong to surpass him in performance, and the top scorer in the college entrance examination is just around the corner. Qin Hao entered the 25th floor with a proud look on his face. However, the faces of Zhao Meng and Chen Jialong were not good looking. Just as Qin Hao said, if Qin Hao wins the top spot in the college entrance examination, enters the top class, and enjoys the best resources and treatment, then they may really be far surpassed by Qin Hao. How hateful! Chen Jialong punched the boulder next to him, smashing it into pieces. He originally wanted to compete for the top spot in the college entrance examination and enter the top scorer class of Longguo Vocational University. But now that Qin Hao has plotted against him, All his plans have come to nothing, and he has to face Qin Hao's triumphant face, so he is naturally very angry. Zhao Meng on the side took a deep breath, gradually calmed down, and then said to Chen Jialong and others, "Let's also enter the 25th floor. Although I can't compete for the top spot in the college entrance examination, I still have to hunt monsters and get more points. Student points are very important at Longguo Vocational University. The more points we get on 33rd layer days, the more student points we get." Several people nodded heavily and then followed Zhao Meng into the 25th floor. Off-screen. The scene of the confrontation between Qin Hao, Zhao Meng and others clearly fell into the eyes of the Inspector Qi He. He glanced back at Qin Wanyu and said with a half-smile, "No wonder Zhao Meng and Chen Jialong spent a lot of money, but their points were a lot less than Qin Hao's. It turns out that all this is Qin Hao's handiwork. It's really a good plan." His tone was teasing, but in my heart I don't really care. The loopholes in the college entrance examination have existed for so many years, and Qin Hao is not the only one who has taken advantage of it. This behavior has long been tacitly accepted. In the eyes of the superiors, being able to take advantage of loopholes is also a skill. So, don't say that Qin Hao refused to admit that he did this. Even if he admitted it himself, Shihei would not do anything to him. Qin Wanyu also knows this truth, so he is not worried about Qin Hao at all. He just glanced at Wu Liang next to him with a somewhat unnatural expression. Seeing his livid face, Qin Wanyu groaned inwardly. Qin Hao's actions affected more than just Zhao Meng and Chen Jialong. All upper-level candidates will be affected and their grades will be lowered. Wu Liang had foreseen that due to Qin Hao's behavior, the scores in the Donghai Province College entrance examination would drop significantly this year, and would not even compare to last year, so he was naturally very angry. If Lin Fei hadn't come out of nowhere to save his face, he would have gone berserk on the spot. But this matter is not over yet. When the college entrance examination is over, he will definitely settle the score with the Qin family. Wu Liang turned his head and glanced at Qin Wanyu coldly. Qin Wanyu's heart suddenly sank, knowing that he had completely offended the governor, and the days to come would probably not be easy. But there's nothing we can do about it. When setting up the plan, he actually considered that doing so would offend Wu Liang. But on the one hand, the temptation of being the top candidate in the college entrance examination is too great, and we must help Qin Hao win it. On the other hand, he also thought that as long as Qin Hao could climb to the 30th floor and tie the college entrance examination record, he could save Wu Liang's face and win his forgiveness. But I never expected that Lin Fei would come out of nowhere during the college entrance examination, and he would directly overshadow Qin Hao's limelight. Now the person who saves the governor's face is Lin Fei, not Qin Hao, so he can't get the governor to forgive him. Even more disgusting. If offending the governor could lead to him winning the college entrance examination, then he would admit it. But now that he had offended the governor, Qin Hao still failed to win the first place. This time he really suffered a big loss. Qin Wanyu groaned secretly and felt a headache just thinking about it. How to ease the relationship with the governor? Qin Wanyu feels a headache just thinking about this now, and he doesn't know how to face the provincial governor Wu Liang next. Although the Qin family is the largest family in Donghai province, it is very powerful. But if the governor deliberately wants to give them little shoes to wear, the Qin family may not have a good life in the future. Qin Wanyu groaned secretly in his heart. If I had known that there was such a powerful figure as Lin Fei, I should not have allowed Qin Hao to act like this. Good thing now, not only did he fail to win the top spot in the college entrance examination, but he also caused the Qin family to offend the provincial governor Wu Liang. This is completely a bad move. I really regret it. Qin Wanyu regretted it in his heart, and at the same time secretly sighed that Qin Hao was so unlucky. If it weren't for Lin Fei, his plan might have succeeded, and the top scorer in the college entrance examination would be within easy reach. But because of Lin Fei, not only did all the plans come to nothing, but the Qin family also suffered. Thinking of this, Qin Wanyu sighed helplessly in his heart. Being in a class with a peerless genius like Lin Fei is really a tragedy for all candidates. Then he took a deep breath and looked up at the scene in front of him. As Zhao Meng and others entered the entrance of the next floor, there were no other candidates on the 24th floor. He continued to manipulate the golden screen, and the scenes of the layers below continued to appear on the screen. There is only one candidate on the 23rd floor. There are 3 candidates on the 22nd floor. There are more than a dozen candidates on the 21st floor. There are a lot of candidates on the 20th floor, there are thousands of them. He briefly counted the number of candidates on each floor. Every time he counted, Wu Liang's face turned darker by 3 points. When he saw that there were thousands of candidates blocked on the 20th floor, his face turned completely black. Under normal circumstances, these thousands of people should have passed the 20th floor and entered the 21st, 22nd, 23rd, or even the 24th floor. Now, because of Qin Hao's little tricks, they are temporarily blocked on the 20th floor, and the progress is slow. Although they will be able to enter the 21st floor sooner or later, they will also hunt many monsters along the way. But how many points can you get by killing these 20th floor low-level monsters? A lot of time is wasted. Wu Liang has now foreseen it. When they enter the lower levels, they will encounter the same situation. By then, their time and energy will be wasted, which will affect their final results. Although this year is a big year for the college entrance examination, because of Qin Hao's troubles, when the final results came out, it would be thankful to be the same as last year, or even worse than last year. The anger in Wu Liang's heart had burned to his throat. Qin Wanyu next to him was so frightened that he didn't dare to breathe, for fear that the governor would attack him on the spot. Fortunately, although the results of the middle and upper level candidates were greatly affected, the top batch of candidates were indeed very impressive. Especially Lin Fei, who was expected to enter the 32nd floor, gives him some comfort in his impetuous heart. He, who was at the front, didn't care much about the results of these middle and upper level candidates. After a few quick glances, he erased half of the picture, leaving only Lin Fei's figure on the golden screen. At this time, Lin Fei was resting under the shade of a tree, taking a look at the points in the teleportation token. After killing those 2 level 19 monsters, my monster killing points have accumulated to 9,827 points, and I will soon break through 10,000 points. After Lin Fei saw the current points for killing monsters, he nodded with great satisfaction. My points for killing monsters alone now exceed the total points earned by the top scorer in last year's college entrance examination. I have spent the past few days hunting monsters in vain. Hunting monsters not only earns points, but also increases experience. After killing those 2 level 19 monsters, my experience bar reached 100% again, and I have now been promoted to level 16. Lin Fei muttered to himself while opening the personal attributes panel. The level mark above has been changed from 15 to 16. Name: Lin Fei. Occupation: Undead Lord, only. Level: 16, 0.52%. Life: 1130 plus 300. Strength: 1180. Agility: 1090 plus 300. Mana: 1350 1200 plus 150. Equipment: Psychic Bracelet, Jinming Stone Necklace, Nebula Mysterious Shoes. Backpack Space: 235 Army: Undead Ghost. As the level increases, more arms can be unlocked. Skills: Soul Tentacles, Normal Shield, Teleportation, Bone Spurs, Summoning Undead Ghosts. Talent: Infinite Synthesis. After being promoted to level 16, all 4-dimensional attributes will be increased to over 1100 points. The power of each skill has also been improved a lot. More importantly, I have awakened a new skill, Soul Tentacles. Lin Fei's eyes stayed on the skill column and opened the detailed introduction of the Soul Tentacle skill. Soul Tentacle. After killing the enemy, release an invisible tentacle to capture the enemy's soul fragments and use them to strengthen your own soul. Depending on the size of the captured soul fragment, different amounts of mana are consumed. It's actually a skill that enhances soul power. Lin Fei looked happy. He is worried about this matter. Lord-type professionals can control summoned objects at will, relying on their soul connection with the summoned objects. But this soul connection is also a burden in itself. And as the number and strength of the summoned objects increases, the burden on the soul will become heavier. The strength of soul power limits the number and strength of summons that a professional can control. This point is actually easy to say for ordinary Lord-type professionals. They can only summon weak black iron level summons. Even if they summon hundreds of them at once, their soul power can still withstand them. But Lin Fei was different. He can enhance the strength of the undead ghost through continuous synthesis. At level 1, the strength of the undead ghost reaches level 6. By the time it reaches level 15, the strength of the undead ghost has reached level 21. This is a very heavy burden on the soul. When synthesizing white-silver level undead ghosts before, Lin Fei clearly felt that his soul was overburdened and had reached the limit of endurance, and he could no longer synthesize undead ghosts. If not, he would have continued to summon white-silver level undead ghosts and continued to improve the strength of the undead ghosts. When I was at level 15, the undead ghosts at level 21 were the limit of what I could bear. It even made me a little breathless. It wasn't until I was promoted again that I could calm down. Although I have been promoted to level 16 now and can continue to improve the strength of the undead ghost, the burden on the soul is still too heavy. I need to improve my soul power again to reduce the burden on myself. It's just that this method of increasing soul power by upgrading the level is too slow and the effect is too poor. Awakening the soul tentacle skill now solves my urgent need. In the future, by killing monsters and capturing their soul fragments, I can increase my soul power and no longer have to worry about the burden on my soul. Lin Fei's face was full of joy and energy, and he couldn't wait to hunt monsters and increase his soul power. The 33rd layer day is somewhat similar to the novice copy. The higher the level of monsters, but the number will decrease accordingly. When at the lower level, Lin Fei could easily encounter a large number of monsters. But since reaching the 28th floor, it takes time to search to find the monster. However, although there are fewer monsters in the upper floors, they are of higher levels and you will get more points after killing them. Even if it takes time to search, the overall points gained are still more than those obtained by hunting monsters in the lower levels. Lin Fei searched due east for more than 10 minutes before encountering a level 18 monster. Ghost of the undead, deal with it. As soon as Lin Fei thought, the ghost of the dead disappeared from his side like a ghost. The next second, the undead ghost suddenly appeared in front of the level 18 monster and chopped off its head with a sword. Now that the strength of the undead ghost has reached level 21, it will naturally kill a level 18 monster instantly. After receiving the experience increase prompt, Lin Fei muttered in his mind, "Soul tentacle." Immediately afterwards, an invisible tentacle flew out of Lin Fei's body and shot towards the corpse of the level 18 monster. After grabbing a soul fragment from the monster's corpse, the tentacle flew back into Lin Fei's body. Lin Fei immediately felt a warmth in his heart, feeling like a fetus returning to its mother's arms. This state lasted for 3 seconds and then slowly disappeared. Lin Fei now felt a lot more relaxed all over his body, as if an invisible pressure had been relieved, and he suddenly beamed with joy. My soul power has indeed improved. The soul of the undead ghost, the burden is also reduced. Then he said with regret, although the soul power has been improved a lot, the soul of a level 18 monster is definitely more than that. What the soul tentacle captures is just one of the soul fragments. If I could capture the monster's entire soul, I wonder how much my soul power would increase. Lin Fei secretly longed for it, but he also knew that the current soul tentacles did not have the ability to capture the entire soul. We can only expect that as the level increases, the soul tentacle skills will also increase, allowing more soul fragments to be captured. After withdrawing his thoughts, Lin Fei opened the personal attributes panel again. I found that using the soul tentacle skill this time only cost 10 mana points, and I breathed a sigh of relief. 10 points of mana is still within the acceptable range. Closing the personal attributes panel, Lin Fei turned to look to the southeast and said in a deep voice, "Continue to hunt more monsters." After saying that, he took the ghost of the undead and walked towards the southeast. Only a few minutes later, a level 18 monster was encountered again. As expected, Lin Fei had seen the monster and his face was filled with joy. When his soul power had just improved, some scenes on the 30th floor appeared in his mind. Lin Fei judged that this was part of the monster's memory during his lifetime. So I followed my memory to find a nearby level 18 monster. In the end, within a few minutes, I actually found this level 18 monster. This shows that his judgment is completely correct. In addition to improving the soul power, the soul tentacle skill also brings back some memories of the monster's life in the soul fragments. In this case, the time it takes to find monsters later will be greatly shortened, and the speed of increasing points will also be significantly increased. Lin Fei clenched his fists excitedly and ordered the undead ghost to kill this level 18 monster. The undead ghost immediately set off, and naturally the result was an instant kill. Soul Tentacle. Lin Fei used the skill again, and the warmth came to his heart again, and his soul power also increased again. If we continue to improve at this rate, it will last until the end of the college entrance examination. My soul power may be able to bear the ghosts of the undead with level 25 strength. Lin Fei looked excited, looking forward to how far his soul power would grow after the college entrance examination. Then he murmured to himself, "The improvement of soul power can not only reduce the burden on my soul, but also free up my hands to kill monsters myself." He rarely killed monsters himself before. On the one hand, it was because there were ghosts of the dead and he had no need to take action. On the other hand, it was also because the burden on his soul was too heavy, which had affected his own combat power, forcing him to reduce the number of times he did it himself. Now with the soul tentacle skill, the soul power continues to increase. In addition to continuing to improve the strength of the undead ghost, he can also be completely liberated from the pressure of overburdening the soul. Lin Fei had a faint smile on his face. After a brief thought, a light flashed in his eyes. There is a level 19 monster 5 kilometers due north. This is the information learned from the soul fragment of the monster just now. Lin Fei didn't stop and immediately rushed over with the ghost of the dead. That's all. With the help of soul fragments, Lin Fei became more efficient in hunting monsters, and his points increased faster. After only staying on the 30th floor for 5 hours, the monster killing points in his teleportation token had already accumulated to 15,890 points. Enter the 31st floor. Lin Fei came to the entrance of the 31st floor and walked in with the undead ghost without thinking, preparing to start a new round of hunting. Outside, college entrance examination square. Wu Liang stood up suddenly, stared at Lin Fei in the screen with his eyes wide open, and exclaimed, How on earth did he do it? On the 28th and 29th floors, he still needs to waste a lot of time looking for monsters. How come after reaching the 30th floor, it's like having an extra pair of eyes? I can find monsters very accurately without wasting any time. Furthermore, it can kill monsters below level 18 instantly, and monsters above level 18 can be killed within 100 moves. This is incredible. Wu Liang looked at Lin Fei as if he were a monster, his chest rising and falling like waves. For others, the higher they get to the upper level, the slower they kill monsters. But when Lin Fei got here, it was actually the other way around. The higher he got, the faster he killed monsters. He has lived for decades, and this is the first time he has encountered such a situation. Chi-He, the patrol officer in front, was also uneasy inside. He reached out and clicked in the void, and a golden light shot out from his fingertips and flew into the golden screen. Then, the monster killing points in Lin Fei's teleportation token appeared on the golden screen. 15,890 points. Chi-He's pupils shrank and he couldn't help but exclaimed. Although he had already guessed and prepared mentally in advance, he was still shocked after seeing it with his own eyes. I can't believe it, I just can't believe it. The points earned from just killing monsters reached 15,890 points, directly surpassing that adult's total points that year. If we include the 5,000 level points on the 31st level, Lin Fei's total points now reach an astonishing 20,890 points. This is simply an impossible result, but Lin Fei really did it. And this is not his final result. I couldn't believe that everything I was seeing was real. Chi-He raised his arms in front of him and stood motionless like a tree. After being stunned for a while, he gradually came out of the shock. At the same time, he secretly estimated in his mind. He is on the 28th floor and has gained more than 3,000 points. He is on the 29th floor and has gained more than 4,000 points. And by the 30th floor, he actually got more than 6,000 points. Terrible. If he continues at this rate, I can't imagine how many points his final total will reach. The more Chi-He thought about it, the more shocked he became. He couldn't imagine how Lin Fei practiced. For others, if they can get 500 or 600 points at each level, they are already very powerful, and some can't even get 500 or 600 points. Just like the top scorer in last year's college entrance examination, with a total of more than 7,000 points, minus the 2,500 level points on the 28th level, the actual points obtained for killing monsters are only about 4,800 points. From the 21st floor to the 28th floor, the average points gained per floor are only 600 points. The number of points Lin Fei earned at each level was actually 5 times, 6 times, or even 10 times that of others. It was simply unbelievable. He didn't even dare to predict Lin Fei's final score now. 30,000 points? 40,000 points? He has completely lost his ability to judge Lin Fei. Qin Wanyu behind him stared blankly at Lin Fei in the picture, his heart completely numb. Next, let alone Lin Fei, he entered the 32nd level and broke through 30,000 points. Even if he enters the 33rd level and reaches 40,000 or 50,000 points, he will not be surprised at all. This is simply a monster. The three of them had this sentence in their hearts at the same time. Then they watched Lin Fei in the screen infatuatedly, finding monsters at extremely fast speeds on the 31st floor, hunting them down, and gaining points. 6 hours later, Lin Fei entered the 32nd floor with the ghost of the undead. The points for killing monsters in the teleportation token have also increased to 23,266 points, which is an increase of 7,426 points compared to when they just entered the 31st floor. You know, the top scorer in last year's college entrance examination only had a total of 7,000 points. Lin Feiguang's points obtained on the 31st level exceeded the total points scored by the top scorer in last year's college entrance examination. You can find monsters in a very short time and kill them in a very short time. Only when you reach Lin Fei's level can you get so many points. He couldn't help but sigh. Lin Fei is one of the best candidates he has ever seen in these years. Qin Wanyu behind him was numb, and there was only one voice left in his heart. To recruit him, we must recruit him. Even if you fail to recruit him, you must still make friends with him. Such a person will surely soar into the sky in the future. Being on good terms with him has only advantages and no disadvantages. Qin Wanyu shouted in his heart that he must make good friends with Lin Fei. At the same time, he was secretly vigilant and must not antagonize Lin Fei. He simply couldn't bear to think about what would happen if he turned against such a monster-level person. Looking up, he saw on the screen that Lin Fei was groping towards the entrance to the next floor. He couldn't help but exclaimed, "Does he still want to attack the 33rd floor?" Wu Liang also discovered this. After a moment of silence, he said in a deep voice, "It's really possible. If I were him, I would definitely try to hit the 33rd floor. That is the highest level of 33rd layer, the highest ideal of all college entrance examination candidates." He stood in front and said nothing after hearing it. But there was a hint of expectation in his eyes. A day ago, if someone had told him that some candidates would have the opportunity to reach the 33rd floor this year, he would not have believed a word of it. No one knows better than him, the college entrance examination inspector, how difficult it is to climb to the 33rd floor. Since the 33rd layer was created by Longguo Vocational University, only 2 people have reached the 33rd level in the college entrance examination. These 2 people eventually became powerful figures in the world, suppressing Blue Star for an entire era. It's difficult to be such a person, to be the 3rd person to reach the 33rd level of 33rd layer, very difficult. Such a person may not appear in 1,000 years. He never expected to meet such a person, but if this possibility were placed on Lin Fei. He hesitated, even vaguely expecting it. Judging from Lin Fei's current performance, he really has hope of reaching the 33rd level. Let's just watch. There are many level 20 monsters on the 33rd floor. Let's see if he can kill a level 20 monster and stay on the 33rd floor for a full hour. He was silent for a long time before speaking softly. Reaching the 33rd floor doesn't mean you just have to enter. Instead, you have to kill a monster with the highest level on the 33rd floor and stay on the 33rd floor for an hour before you successfully ascend to this level and gain level points for this level. The senior leader of Dragon Kingdom also tried to attack the 33rd floor and successfully entered. However, He only stayed there for 24 minutes before he was directly teleported out of the 33rd layer because he lost to the level 20 monster. Just this has made countless candidates stop in their tracks. The record he set in Longjing has yet to be broken by anyone. He looked forward to Lin Fei finally being able to do that. Provincial Governor Wu Liang is also looking forward to it as much as he does. If Lin Fei can really reach the 33rd floor, then Donghai Province's college entrance examination record will be the highest in the 33rd layer world. This is something to be very proud of. To this day, he still clearly remembers how the governors of the other two provinces showed off in front of him that their province's college entrance examination records were at the 33rd level. He was envious of him at that time. If Lin Fei does it today, then when it comes to college entrance examination records in the future, he will no longer be shorter than others. Qin Wanyu was also curious about whether Lin Fei could climb to the 33rd floor. He looked down at the time and said, "There are still 13 hours until the college entrance examination ends." From a time perspective, Lin Fei has plenty of time. Chihei nodded upon hearing this. There is plenty of time, so whether he can climb to the 33rd floor depends on his own strength. Judging from Lin Fei's current performance, his strength is at least level 20, and there is still hope for him to reach the 33rd level. With anticipation, he reached out to operate the golden screen again. The screen was divided into two, and Qin Hao and others appeared on the other half. They have already entered the 29th floor. It's not bad. Governor Wu Liang saw that Qin Hao and others were on the 29th floor and gave a good evaluation. Qin Wanyu pursed his lips when he heard this, but in the end he said nothing more. Qin Hao and the others reached the 29th floor, surpassing last year's top scorer in the college entrance examination. There is even enough time to attack the 30th floor. This result should be said to be very good, rather than simply good. It's a pity that Lin Fei's results are even better. After seeing how powerful Lin Fei was, when he looked at Qin Hao and others, they seemed much mediocre, so Wu Liang felt that they were just good. Qin Hao has always been determined to win the top spot in the college entrance examination, but Lin Fei's unexpected appearance has made his goal failed. I hope he will not be too hard hit after seeing the results. Qin Wanyu frowned worriedly, sighed inwardly, and looked up at the left half of the screen. In the screen, Qin Hao, Lu Zi and another teammate were hunting monsters on the 29th floor to gain points. Because there are not many monsters on the 29th floor and their levels are still high. It often takes them a long time to find a monster. Then fight fiercely to get rid of the monsters and gain points for killing monsters. Their overall strength is only around level 19, so it is naturally impossible for them to kill monsters below level 18 like Lin Fei. However, being able to work together to kill level 18 monsters is enough to make them excited. Although it took a lot of time to kill this level 18 monster, I also gained 150 points at once. Now, my monster killing points have reached 6,124 points. There are still more than 10 hours before the college entrance examination ends. I have enough time to attack the 30th floor. By the time the college entrance examination is over, my monster killing points are estimated to reach nearly 8,000 points. Coupled with the 4,000 level points on the 30th level, my total score will be around 12,000 points. By then, in terms of levels, I will tie the college entrance examination record, and in terms of points, I will surpass the college entrance examination record and set a new record. The top scorer in this year's college entrance examination must be me. Qin Hao was secretly excited while checking the points in the teleportation token. With his scores surpassing the college entrance examination record of Donghai Province, it is absolutely certain that he will win the top spot in the college entrance examination. Moreover, before the college entrance examination ends, I can be promoted to level 19, which is a double blessing. Qin Hao couldn't help but smile. The faces of Lu Zi and Lu Zi next to them also showed excitement. Although the top scorer in the college entrance examination did not fall on them. But with their current 3,000 points for killing monsters, there is absolutely no problem in surpassing last year's top scorer in the college entrance examination. This is already worthy of their excitement. Lu Zi was excited, but he was still rejoicing. Fortunately, Lin Fei is a fool, otherwise the opportunity to team up with Mr. Qin would not have fallen to him. If you can't seize such a huge opportunity before you, You deserve to be kicked out of the college entrance examination early by Master Chin. The more Lu Zi thought about it, the more excited he became. He couldn't wait to know what Lin Fei would do when he saw that he failed. It would definitely be very interesting. Okay, let's continue setting off. Qin Hao took a short rest and then led Lu Zi and the two of them to continue setting off. As he walked, he said, "I'll emphasize it again. The monsters on the 29th floor are all very strong, so we only attack lone monsters. If we encounter 2 or more monsters, we should stay away quickly and never provoke them. Also, every time you encounter 3 monsters, the points of the first 2 monsters will belong to me, and the points of the remaining monster will be divided equally between the 2 of you." Qin Hao turned back with a serious face to remind Lu Zi and Lu Zi. Lu Zi and Lu Zi nodded hurriedly, indicating that they had kept it in mind. They have now ensured their admission to Longguo Vocational University. So the remaining task is to help Qin Hao improve his points and win the top spot in the college entrance examination. Qin Hao turned his head back with satisfaction and looked around, trying to find traces of the next monster. According to the agreement, the points for the next monster will still be his. He relied on this point distribution method to obtain more points than usual. The 3 of them walked and searched in the wasteland. More than 10 kilometers away from them, Zhao Meng and 4 others were besieging a monster. The monster was already dying after the 4 of them joined forces to besiege it for more than 10 minutes. Seeing this, Zhao Meng turned to look at Chen Jialong and said, "According to the agreement, this monster's points belong to you. You go and kill him." The other 2 stopped their hands in cooperation, and then watched together as Chen Jialong punched the monster's head, earning 150 points. Seeing that the monster was dead, Zhao Meng exhaled heavily and suggested, "Let's rest where we are for 20 minutes before setting off again." The other 3 people had no objection, so they stopped and rested on the spot. Zhao Meng sat cross-legged in the middle of the 3 people, and his body gradually exuded a holy light. This is her unique recovery skill. While recovering herself, it can also help Chen Jialong and the others recover. After recovering for a period of time, Zhao Meng stopped the skill and thought to himself, "My experience bar has reached 90%, and it won't take long to be promoted to level 19. Chen Jialong's situation should be similar to mine. He can also be promoted to level 19 at level 29. In this way, it shouldn't be a big problem for us 2 level 19 professionals to join forces and climb to the 30th floor." Zhao Meng was secretly excited. Her original goal was only the 29th floor. Unexpectedly, by accident, he would join forces with Chen Jialong and have the strength to reach the 30th floor. This is all thanks to Qin Hao. Otherwise it would be absolutely impossible for the 2 of them to join forces to compete for the top spot in the college entrance examination. It's a pity that although my results were better than expected, the top spot in the college entrance examination was snatched away by others. Zhao Meng shook his head with some disappointment. She and Chen Jialong currently only have over 4,000 points for killing monsters. Even if he reaches the 30th floor, his final points for killing monsters will not exceed 6,000 points, and he will never be able to catch up with Qin Hao. This year's college entrance examination champion will definitely be snatched away by Qin Hao. All they can do now is get more points and exchange them for student points in the future. Zhao Meng sighed secretly in his heart, then took a deep breath and asked Chen Jialong and others to continue setting off. 7 hours passed in a hurry. Qin Hao and Zhao Meng's group arrived at the entrance of the 30th floor one after another. Lin Fei, who was higher up, had already entered the 33rd floor. Lin Fei has entered the 33rd floor. Qi watched Lin Fei enter the transmission channel, and his spirits suddenly lifted. He raised his hand and brushed the golden curtain, and the golden light flowed on his fingertips. The next second, Lin Fei was the only figure left on the golden curtain. Wu Liang and Qin Wanyu behind them also cheered up and stared at Lin Fei in the screen, looking forward to his next performance. As long as you kill a level 20 monster and stay on the 33rd floor for an hour. Even if he doesn't make it to the end of the college entrance examination, he can still be considered successful in reaching the 33rd level, becoming the 3rd professional in the history of Dragon Kingdom to reach the highest level of the 33rd layer in the college entrance examination. Shihi's heart was pounding nervously, and his eyes looking at Lin Fei were full of expectation. The next hour is crucial. Whether Lin Fei can create history depends on his performance in the next hour. For some reason, a very strong premonition suddenly emerged in his heart that he would definitely be able to witness the birth of history today. In the screen, Lin Fei was also very excited after entering the 33rd floor. It's not that he cares about whether he can make history. Instead, he thought that as long as he could successfully reach the 33rd floor, he would get 50 mission points as an additional reward from the system. 50 mission points are enough to exchange for a lot of things. Lin Fei had expectations in his heart and his eyes scanned the space on the 33rd floor. The environment here is very different from the previous 32nd floor. There was no day or night in the sky, but darkness, with only a little dim light and very little visibility. The ground beneath his feet was not complete, but was broken into floating land masses, floating in space. Under the floating land, there is unfathomable darkness. Lin Fei walked to the edge of the floating continent, looked at the unfathomable abyss, and secretly warned, "Be careful when jumping between floating continents. If you accidentally fall, I'm afraid you will be teleported directly and the college entrance examination will end early." Take a quick look around. Lin Fei did not see the monster appear. With the ghosts of the undead floating on the earth, he kept jumping between the many floating lands, looking for traces of monsters. More than 10 minutes passed. Lin Fei encountered his first level 20 monster. U-Beast. Level 20. Introduction. Also known as the Space Twister, it was born in a strange space. Its combat power is lower than that of monsters of the same level, but it has the ability to jump quickly in space and is very difficult to kill. After reading the information about the Space Beast, Lin Fei looked up at the level 20 Space Beast again. His body was similar to a black hole vortex, suspended over the abyss, and the nearby space became somewhat distorted under its influence. With the ability to jump in space, it looks very difficult to kill. Lin Fei rubbed his chin and thought in his mind, "But now that I have met him, I have to give it a try. Anyway, its combat power is average, so there's no need to be too afraid." Thinking like this, Lin Fei thought, and the ghost of the undead rushed towards the beast. The undead ghost has the ability to fly, and the landscape on the 33rd floor has little impact on it. I saw it coming to the Yusho with a sword, and when it was about to slash it with the sword, it suddenly found that the Yusho had disappeared on the spot and jumped into the air. He raised his head and looked around, and found that the beast was already above the floating land 100 meters away. When you smell danger, do you distort space and perform space jumps? It seems that it will take some effort to kill it. Lin Fei watched the space beast jump across space to escape from a distance, and couldn't help but frown. The undead ghosts over there, after discovering the traces of the U-Beast, continued to rush towards it. But before it even got close, the beast disappeared again, and the next second its figure appeared in the upper left space 100 meters away. After Lin Fei saw it, he estimated the distance between the two movements of the beast, and his eyes flashed. "Can you only move 100 meters at a time? Then you can't run away now? As long as the undead ghost is fast enough, it will be easy to catch up with you." Lin Fei just finished speaking. The undead ghost immediately consumes 200 mana points to use the Dance of Death skill. Within 30 seconds, its agility increases 5 times, reaching an astonishing 17,800 points. This kind of speed can only be possessed by level 24 monsters. Even if the space beast can jump through space, the undead ghost can still catch up in time with its speed. The Dance of Death skill takes effect, and the undead ghost bursts out at super fast speed, turns into an afterimage, and rushes towards the direction of the U-Beast. The U-Beast also distorted the space again and jumped 100 meters away. Only this time, the undead ghost immediately changed its direction after jumping into the air, and just barely caught up with the U-Beast, who twisted the space to escape again. Although the undead ghost missed twice, it got closer each time. The undead ghost continued to pursue, and finally caught up with the U-Beast, who had just completed the jump for the 5th time. Without hesitation, the undead ghost waved his sword and cut off the illusory body of the beast. Click. Several cracks appeared out of thin air in the space where the U-Beast was located, and then the cracks continued to spread, eventually breaking into countless tiny fragments and falling into the abyss below. Kill level 20 U-Beast. Experience plus 1800. Lin Fei received the experience increase prompt and knew that Yusho was dead. Then he used the soul tentacle skill to capture the soul fragments of the beasts and enhance his soul power. The moment the soul fragment was grabbed into his body by the tentacles, Lin Fei showed an expression of great enjoyment on his face. The warm feeling lasted for a few seconds, and he slowly exhaled. The soul fragments of level 20 monsters are really effective. They're worth the soul fragments of 5 level 19 monsters. Of course, the mana consumption is also 5 times that of level 19 monsters. Lin Fei glanced at the personal attribute panel, shook his head with a wry smile, and stared at him. The experience points in the experience column have been increased to 70%. I will be promoted to level 17 before the college entrance examination is over. Lin Fei felt excited in his heart. In the 33rd layer world, it is a big gain that I can continuously advance to level 3. There are still 6 hours until the exam ends. My current monster killing points are 24,310 points. Kill a level 20 monster and you can get 300 points. Although level 20 monsters are not easy to deal with, it shouldn't be a problem to kill dozens or 20 of them in 6 hours. In that case, my monster killing points can eventually be increased to about 30,000 points. With the addition of 10,000 level points, my total points can reach 40,000 points. It is 6 times higher than last year's top scorer in the college entrance examination. It is estimated that it can be converted into a lot of student points, which is very good. After Lin Fei thought about this, he led the undead ghost towards a larger floating land in the distance. According to the memory in the Yuju soul fragment just now, there is a level 20 burrowing mole on that huge floating land.